Oh, yeah. Oh, my goodness. Is it Tuesday already? Wow, we got a good stream today. Is Vader going to be in the Bad Batch? Also, Daisy Ridley having yet another interview where we can talk about some stuff that she is talking about regarding Star Wars and the upcoming Rey movie. And again, she keeps saying all the right things. It seems like we got a lot to get into today. Also, some Andor Season 2 news, as well as we are doing another giveaway today for all those members out there. And of course, the Bad Batch Season 3 is only, 22 days away? That's insane. Let's dive into all this. What's up, guys? So the Bad Batch is right around the corner. And a lot of theories are going around, and one of the biggest ones I've seen online is that Vader, Darth Vader, could be in the Bad Batch Season 3. And when we talk about this, it'll make a lot more sense. But first, let me pull it up for you guys. Let me put up a poll in the chat. How are we doing, by the way, today on this fine Tuesday afternoon, everybody? Let me put this up in the chat before we even start to talk about it to see where you guys are at first. Okay? Do you think Darth Vader will be in the Bad Batch Season 3? Bad Batch Season 3. You tell me, yes or no. Do you think he'll be there? Or do you think it's just too crazy to bring in the giant Sith Lord of Darth Vader because he'll chop all their heads off? Because I think that's actually where we might be going. What's up, Austin? What's up, Maggie? What's up, Dustin? Yes, you are correct, Maggie. Yes, you are. If you guys get here early for the streams, we will do some Star Wars trivia in the chat, as you can see before. Okay, so Darth Vader in the Bad Batch Season 3. Here's why I think it will happen. So the Bad Batch Season 3, of course, we know is the final season of the Bad Batch. So a lot of the members of Clone Force 99 in Hunter and Wrecker and Echo and Tech, who's of course, I guess, already dead, and Crosshair and Omega are probably not going to live to the end of this season. They're not in any other projects after the Bad Batch, from Kenobi to all the other projects, Andor, Rebels, Clone Wars. Clone Wars is before the original trilogy, and of course The Mandalorian. What's up, Derpy? What's up, Star Wars Academy? So they're not in anything else, these Bad Batch members. So it's likely that the majority of them will die. Now, maybe a few will survive. I think Omega might survive, but it's highly unlikely that we get to see them all survive, if not many of them survive, because they aren't in anything else, and there would be a lot of explanation to keep them alive. So I could see the death of Crosshair, Hunter, and Wrecker all by the end of this third season. And who's gonna do it? Darth Vader. Here's why I think it's Darth Vader. So Palpatine, and we could go back and rewatch this trailer, but we've watched it 1,000 times at this point. Palpatine has the most important line in this trailer. And it's along the lines of, what we are doing here is essential to securing the future for the Empire. Whatever resources you need, you have them. And he's talking about Mount Tantiss and the cloning efforts on Mount Tantiss. And this project is so important and so secretive for the Empire that the word can't get out, and they need to keep it protected. And if the Bad Batch are going to try to either blow this base up, or go try to save Omega by blowing this base up, or trying to go save Crosshair by blowing this base up, then that's going to be a big, big problem. Also, the clones probably don't want them cloning anymore, because the Empire in charge of cloning is not a good plan. So it seems like the Bad Batch's main goal coming into this third season is to, in fact, stop the Empire on Mount Tantiss. And the Emperor's goal going into this third season is to stop the Bad Batch from stopping them. And if they really become a big, big problem, then Palpatine's probably gonna bring in the big guns and bring in Darth Vader to stop the Bad Batch. Now, I think a lot of other things will come first. I think the beginning part of the season will see the Empire hire bounty hunters to stop them, like Cad Bane and Fennec Shand. It'll see maybe even Inquisitors, but I don't think the Inquisitors are around. We talked about this on last stream, but I don't think they're ready yet. But he'll probably send out some clone commandos, so all these people to try to stop the Bad Batch first. Maybe we'll even see the Zillow Beast armor, maybe some first generation sort of Dark Troopers or something like that. But eventually, the Bad Batch are still going to be a persistent threat to the Empire, and I think that is when we will finally see Darth Vader come in and deal some business. I think he will probably kill a member or two of the Bad Batch and, again, secure the fact that Darth Vader is a badass and he is awesome. Because if there's one thing that Disney has gotten so right for the last 12 years of owning Star Wars, it's Darth Vader. Every appearance he's in, from the Jedi games to Kenobi to everything, Rogue One, he is spectacular. He's badass. He kills everybody. He's so freaking unstoppable. It's insane. So I think he's going to come in and kill some people. I think he's going to sort of chop some heads off. Maybe bye-bye Wrecker, bye-bye Hunter. You know, I think it's going to be a bye-bye. A bye-bye. And I think this will probably happen in the finale. I don't think you'll see Vader very much in this season. But I don't know. What do we think? What do we think, chat? How's everybody doing? Ian, what's up? Fearless, what's up? What do we think? And actually, Ian makes a great point. Vader would be Vader would be the one to sent to take out Ventress. So Ventress is also in the Bad Batch Season 3 trailer. And a lot of question marks are still around this character's appearance. Why is she there? I still think she is a hero rather than a villain in this third season. So I think Ventress is going to be on the side of the Bad Batch, maybe helping them to actually go save Omega, but that remains to be seen. However, again, a Jedi, because Asajj does turn to the light side, a Jedi, Vader's whole goal right now at the time of the Bad Batch Season 3 is to hunt down the Jedi who survived Order 66. So if Asajj Ventress is there and the Bad Batch are trying to spoil, I should say, Palpatine's plans on Mount Tantiss, then Vader should be there. It just honestly makes perfect sense for Vader to be there. With Asajj Ventress being a Jedi, the Bad Batch being a big threat to what Palpatine's trying to do, which is supposedly the most important thing to securing the future of the Empire, you're telling me he's not going to go send Vader after them because it's the most important thing to securing the future of the entire Empire. Seems like a no-brainer to me. Seems like a no-brainer to me. Austin Snow says, I thought Asajj Ventress was a bounty hunter. That is a good point. She is technically not a Jedi because the Jedi Order is gone. The Jedi don't exist anymore, so that's why she's not a Jedi. But she does go back to the light side, so technically she is a Jedi. Yeah. Dustin said, I'm excited for the Bad Batch. Me too. Fearless says, hope you're all doing fine. I'm doing good. How are you? 3 more weeks till Season 3 will drop. Yes, it is. So about 22 days, 2-ish days, something like that. 22 days. Something like that. 22 days until this season drops, and wow. Are we getting hyped up? Are we getting hyped up? Ventress was a bounty hunter. I mean, I guess. She still technically is. Austin says, I think Vader will be in the finale. Yeah, so if he does show up, we're just talking ifs, ands, and buts here. If Vader does show up in this third season, it will be in the finale. And it won't be for a long time. It'll be like all of his other appearances in Rogue One, where he shows up at the end and has the hallway scene, in Jedi Fallen Order, where he shows up at the end and kills everybody. In even in Rebels, he only shows up at the end of seasons to just slice and dice people. He only shows up at the end because it means business and he's going to just destroy everybody. So I think if Vader does show up, we are talking the finale of this season. And it's probably the secret finale that's on May the 4th as well, which is really, really cool. I think they'll tease it out probably in episode 15, and then we'll go right into there. Yeah. Dustin says, I think Darth Vader will be the final boss. Yeah, that's kind of where I'm at too. And I don't think they're going to win. I don't think the Bad Batch are going to win. Let's put it that way. I think many of them are going to die, if not all of them. I could see Omega surviving, but that's about it. That's about it. Maggie says, what if Ventress was sent by Vader to track down the Bad Batch, and there was some other threat, and that's why she is using her yellow lightsaber? No, because in canon we do know for a fact that Asajj Ventress falls in love with Quinlan Vos and turns back to the light. So I really, really doubt that she's working for the Empire, especially for Darth Vader, even though she probably doesn't know it's Anakin, but it is Anakin. I think it'll be more poetic if it's Vader versus Ventress, because Vader versus Ventress is Anakin versus Ventress. We've seen Anakin versus Ventress time and time again in the Clone Wars animated show. So I think it would be more poetic and probably more likely that it's Asajj versus Vader rather than her working for Vader. Skywalker Academy says, my speculation is Asajj and Quinlan will show up in episode 15 and release the Zillo Beast to evade Vader. Yeah, there's definitely a way that they can get around escaping Vader. I just think that many of them will have to die to sort of continue the story of Vader being the badass that he is. Because nobody's really supposed to escape Vader unless it's like really, really difficult. And even then, there should be some bloodshed. Yeah. But I do agree. I think Vader won't show up till the end. Asajj and Quinlan probably won't show up till towards the back half of the season, but I don't know. The Zillo Beast does seem to be a very important still. It definitely does, because I'm rewatching season 2 right now. I just finished rewatching season 1, and the Zillo Beast episode is very important because Tech even talks about how important it is for the Empire. It's a beast that they can literally take its skin off and use it for armor. So it's clearly important to Dr. Hemlock on Mount Tantiss in the efforts of cloning. So it's possible that this Zillo Beast will be extremely important moving forward. Yeah. Maggie says, Vader versus Ventress would be really cool. I agree. I think that would be awesome. I am very much looking forward to it, honestly. I just think Vader is a no-brainer for this one. No-brainer. Just because of the importance that Palpatine is assuring us in this third season's trailer. Also, Mount Tantiss is this cloning facility. We're going to see a Jedi in Asajj Ventress, which he's hunting down, and possibly Quinlan Vos as well, who he should be hunting down. So it definitely should happen. Ellie, what's up? Austin says, Vader will kill Omega, sending the Bad Batch to Vader. If Vader kills Omega, that would be a big surprise. It would be a real big surprise to me. Vader killing Omega would be insane. Because I think Omega will still survive this season. I think she's one of, if not the only Bad Batch member that will continue a story after this show. Wow, how crazy would it be if Vader just came in and killed them all? That would be insane. Because I've been thinking about this. There's really nowhere the Bad Batch can go. Unless they literally just go to Pabu and don't ever leave and just die there. Then there's no way that they wouldn't be involved in the show Rebels, in the show Kenobi, in the show Andor. They would have to be involved in some way in those shows. So I feel like the only option here is to kill them all. Do you guys see any other I don't see anything. I feel like I'm blind right now. I can't see anything other than Vader comes in and kills them all. It only makes sense because you see Rex and Gregor and whatever the hell's name is all in Rebels. But you don't see the Bad Batch. You don't see Omega. Even if Omega survives, you don't see Omega. Fearless says, well, to fight Vader, you need another lightsaber wielder. Ventress is there. So it's very likely that Vader could show up, but I'm not too sure. Yeah, I think Asajj Ventress will be sort of the guy, the girl, I should say, that will draw Vader out. I think Palpatine, of course, saying how important Mount Tantiss is, could pull Vader out, but the more likelihood scenario here is that Ventress, and being a Jedi, and the fact that Vader hunts down Jedis, will be the reason as to why we see Darth Vader. Yeah. Ellie says, we have to face the facts. They're probably all going to die. I think so. I think Crosshair is a definite goner. He's going to finish his arc off, come back to the light, probably sacrifice himself to save Omega, and he's definitely dead. Then, I mean, that could happen in the middle of the season. Then we'll probably see Wrecker and Hunter go shortly after. I don't think Tech is still alive. I don't. I mean, you guys tell me, do you think Tech is still alive? And if so, how? And why? Because he died in the second season, and that death would mean nothing if he was just alive in this third season. I think Tech is definitely still dead, and that only leaves Echo, Hunter, Wrecker, and Crosshair. And of course Omega, but we're not talking Omega right now. Just those four right now. I think Crosshair's definitely a goner. I think Wrecker's definitely a goner. I think just to push Omega's story further, just a little bit further, then I think killing Hunter will allow Omega to sort of make that leap to either going dark side, and maybe if she is Force sensitive, going dark side, or at least to grow up a little and really face the facts of this is bad, and the Empire's bad, and everybody's bad, and my dad Hunter just died, or dad, and all my brothers did too. So it'll be very interesting, but I think they'll all die. I mean, Echo could survive because he's kind of sort of distance himself from that, you know? It's possible. Commander Wolf, that's a good point, Dustin. Let's talk about Commander Wolf for a second here. We see Wolf, oh yeah, he was the third one in Rebels, yes. We see Wolf in the trailer, but he seems to be still working for the Empire. So at some point in this third season, we're going to see Rex, or the Bad Batch themselves, with Rex, capture Wolf or somehow get Wolf away from the Empire and extract his inhibitor chip, because we know that he's alive during Rebels. So at some point in this third season, this is something that we actually know will happen in this third season. We don't really know much about this third season, except for this. We know this will happen, and that is the Bad Batch and Rex will capture or take Wolf or somehow knock him out, whatever it is, and extract his inhibitor chip, because he is alive 20 years later, or 20 some odd years later, in Star Wars Rebels. So he will definitely live. He will definitely live. Yes. Can we get some likes on the stream? What the hell's going on here? Just kidding. Appreciate you all. Where was I? Skywalker Academy says, what if Quinlan and Ventress take her to the path and train her as a Jedi? She's rumored to be the first successful Force-sensitive clone. Yes, that is true. So I just made a full-on video about this on Monday, I think. Monday? And you guys watched it up, and I really appreciate you. I hope you guys, if you haven't watched it yet, go watch it now and drop a like and a comment. But yes, I talked about Omega being Force-sensitive. All the evidence from Season 1 and Season 2 is just blatantly obvious. I think she is Force-sensitive 100%. But I did go into this a little bit at the tail end of this video, too. And having Asajj Ventress show up in this third season could lead to Omega leaving with Asajj after all her brothers die, and leaving with Asajj to go train to be a Force user. Now we know that Quinlan Vos, who is in love or in a romantic relationship with Asajj Ventress, is still alive during the time of the Kenobi show, because his name is written on the walls in the path. And the path has become a thing in live action and in the video games, in the Jedi games. So it's definitely possible that Omega could have gone through the path, trained with Asajj, and maybe even Quinlan too, to become a Force sensitive, and maybe then she becomes sort of another rogue Jedi type, like a Kanan Jarrus or an Asajj Ventress. That would be kind of cool. That would be very cool, honestly. Yeah. Skywalker Academy says, what if we meet Cal and Marin in animation first? That never even crossed my mind. Never even crossed my mind. Wow. What do you guys think? Do you think we could see Cal Kestis in animation first before he comes to live action? Maybe in some sort of post-credit scene in the finale of this season, where Omega has escaped through the path with maybe Asajj Ventress or something. And then we get, like, you either hear his voice or you see his face, and it's an animated version of Cal Kestis. Holy crap, that would be insane. I never even thought of that. I don't know. That's definitely possible. He'd be a lot younger at this time, though, because this takes place... Actually, this probably takes place around the same time as Fallen Order. Maybe not. Maybe, but maybe not. It's possible. It's possible. Yeah. Austin says, yeah, because if Omega was in Rebels, it would have made suspicions. Well, yeah, if Omega was in Rebels, then we would know that she would survive, but she's not. So we don't really know. Dustin says, I wonder if Omega will ever meet Hera again. That's a good point, because I just rewatched again season 1 and season 2. I'm rewatching season 2. And I believe it's in season 1 when they have the whole Hera arc. And Hera Syndulla and the what the hell are the other what's the name of their planet? Hera's planet. But the Empire is trying to take over their planet again, and Hera and her dad, or Hera's parents, I should say, because Hera's a kid, are trying to fight back. In that whole arc, we get to see Omega meet Hera, and at the end of their confrontation or conversation, Hera says something along the lines of like, see you around, or I'll see you soon, or something like that, and it leads us to believe that they will meet again. But we just really don't know when. Now, it's possible that, again, going back to the titles of this 3rd season, the cavalry has arrived. Could be Hera helping out as well. Hera Syndulla. It's definitely possible. Yes. Ryloth. Thank you. Ryloth. Yes. Ryloth. So that's actually could be possible too, where we get all these different heroes helping out. We could see, like Asajj Ventress, of course. We could see Fennec Shand, as some people mentioned. She could be working with Omega in this, or the Bad Batch in this 3rd season. And maybe we could even see Hera Syndulla. That would be crazy. A young Hera Syndulla helping out, trying to destroy Mount Tantiss. That would be pretty cool. And it would also allow her to maybe get the Ghost for the first time in this 3rd season. That would be cool. Maybe meet Kanan Jarrus. With the return of Caleb Dune. That would be cool. Yeah, there's a ton of possibilities of characters that we could see in this 3rd season, and we really don't know. We don't. We see Asajj, we see Cad, we see Fennec Shand, we see Palpatine, all in the trailer, but that's just the trailer. That means there's so many other appearances that might happen that they aren't even telling us yet. Think about it. Gungi was in that 2nd season. He was in the trailer, but it was still a big surprise to most people when the trailer dropped. Hera Syndulla was in that 1st season. Nobody expected that at all. And Caleb Dune or Kanan Jarrus was in the 1st season as well. So there's definitely possibilities for them to just throw in characters here or there. Krennic, the guy who created the Death Star, was in the 2nd season of The Bad Batch 2. It was a very short scene, but he was there. And yeah, there's definitely no limitations to which characters can show up when or anything like that. Because at this time of The Bad Batch Season 3, there are so many heroes, whether they're young or they're old from the prequels or the originals, that could show up in this 3rd season. And Hera Syndulla is not a bad bet. We could see Hera and Omega meet again. For sure. Ellie says, if they die, it would make sense why Rex stopped fighting the Empire. And was a little reluctant to rejoin the rebellion. That is true, because Rex does stop fighting. He does stop fighting because by the time of Rebels, he's not fighting the Empire anymore. So there's something that makes him stop fighting. There's something that maybe it's the Bad Batch Season 3. Maybe all the Bad Batch members die. Maybe he comes into contact with Vader. And he's like, we can't beat that guy. We just can't beat that guy. So he goes into hiding with Wolf and Gregor. And they're like, well, war's over. This galaxy's gone. Vader's too powerful. We can't do it. Nope. Bye-bye. It's definitely possible. Yeah, I didn't even think of that because Rex is done fighting. Rex is done fighting by the time of Rebels. That's definitely possible. Ian says, Ventress is well capable of taking down any Inquisitor. Yeah, but the Inquisitors, we kind of came to this conclusion last stream, aren't around yet. They're not yet created, sort of. By the way, 63% of you guys right now do think that Vader will show up. 63. That's a pretty good amount of him. Shit, it just scrolled down to the bottom. No. Okay, here we go. Your pal Joe, what's up, Joe? Says, what's up, guys? John Groom, how we doing? Ventress and Quinlan together are no match for Vader. Oh, I completely agree. I think we could see the death of Ventress in this. As much as I wouldn't want that because they're bringing her back for the first time in this third season, you could see her actual canon death in this third season as well. I think she will be one of the characters in Tales of the Jedi Season 2. I think they'll explain how she survived the events of Dark Disciple in that second season of Tales. But it's possible that Vader could come in and kill Asajj as well. That would be wild. Soda Man, what's up? The Fallen Master, what is up, guys? Got some new faces in the chat. I like to see that. Skywalker Academy says, Omega and Crosshair escape early, but they are going back to get Hunter, Wrecker, and Echo, and at least some of them clones out. Clone Uprising. Oh yeah, well that's true. It's possible. We talked about this last stream. Let me actually pull this up right here. The title of all the episodes, because we talked about this a little bit last stream, but we got to make this point a little bit harder here. Here we go. So these are all the titles for the episodes. We've looked at this many times. Hang on, let me pull this up here. There we go. Okay, so we pulled this up last stream. These are all the episodes for each. So all the titles, for each episode. So February 21st, we're getting 3 episodes, but these 2 are the most important, I think. Episode 6 and Episode 7, Infiltration and Extraction. I think this will be the extraction of Omega and Crosshair from Mount Tantiss in Episode 7. So before the even halfway mark of the season, I think we will get their sort of escape from Mount Tantiss, Omega and Crosshair. And I don't think anyone's expecting this because they think that this whole season is going to be leading up to this great escape in the finale of Omega and Crosshair. I don't think so. I think that's going to happen early on in the season, in this 7th episode. And I think what's going to happen is Omega and Crosshair are going to report back to Hunter, Wrecker, and Echo and say, there's a ton of clones in there that are all captured, that are all being tortured, that are all being experimented on. And we're going to have to go save them. And this place is so heavily fortified that we're going to have to go get some backup. And that backup might be Rex and some other clones, possibly Gregor, of course, because we saw him in season 1 or 2, I forget, season 1 or 2. We could see some other clones as well, but we could also see some familiar faces like Asajj Ventress, of course, who could be called in to help as well. And maybe some other ones I can't even think of, possibly. But I think they will escape very early on in the season, and I think they will go back in to save the other clones. And like Skywalker Academy just said, we could see a clone uprising from the extraction on Mount Tantiss. That seems like a very cool way to do it, and I'm completely down for that. Yes, 100%. Identity crisis is an interesting one to me too. I don't know what this could mean, who this could be talking about, but it's possible it could be Crosshair because of how much he has had some sort of back and forth here with the Empire and whatever. So he could be the one who's kind of having an identity crisis. But I don't know. It could be another. I don't know. There could be another. And the point of no return is also an interesting one. I don't know what that means either. Juggernaut could be referring to Vader, but I doubt it. The cavalry has arrived is obviously referring to the first line that Wrecker ever said, the first line any Bad Batch member ever said. But there's some very interesting titles here. And the probably the most important one I think here is Extraction and Identity Crisis, because I don't really know who that's referring to. The only option I think is Crosshair. It could be Wolf. It could be Wolf. Yes, actually, Fallen Master, it could be Wolf. The Identity Crisis, because, yeah, we just talked about this, because he could have the inhibitor chip in his head, and he trying to get that out. That's a good point, too. Could be him. Yeah. So, obviously, in a 16-episode series, 15, I guess, but we know there's going to be a 16th episode on May the 4th. Let's be honest. Let's be real, ladies and gentlemen. There will be a 16th episode on the 4th. If there's not, then you can blame me, because I'm 100% sure that there's a 16th episode on the 4th. But in a 16-episode series, season, there's going to be filler episodes. In rewatching season 1 and season 2, there are a ton of filler episodes, like side missions, whatever, but those are all to develop a lot of relationships between Hunter and Omega, or Tech, especially in that second season when we're trying to like really attach ourselves to Tech before he dies. So a lot of that will be the same in this third season, where a lot of this stuff will be side missions, sort of. I think less in this third season because it's the final season, but there will be some sort of side missions to establish character arcs and stuff like that. So some of that might be with Wolf and trying to get his others and stuff like that. So yeah, we'll see. We'll definitely see, but in a 16-episode show, let's not be surprised if some of our watch parties, which we are doing watch parties, of course, every week, some of our watch parties on like these one-off episodes, usually when they double up the episodes, they're usually very important, but usually when they're one-off episodes, they're not as important, and some of these one-off episodes might be filler. Let's just not forget that when we're going in. So yeah, I do think that that's what's going to happen. They're going to extract them very soon on in the season, and then they're going to have to go back to save everybody. Everyone. Okay, but that's where I'm at with that. Yeah. Where was I? Austin says, no, Tech died. I agree with that. John says, do you think they will die by explosion, or will it take multiple hits during a battle and die after winning? I think they might all die in different ways. I think they'll all have some sort of really emotional death. All of them. I think they'll take their time to give each one a respectable death. If we know one thing from the Clone Wars animated show, from Rebels, is that Dave Filoni knows how to make a very sad clone death. I mean, you talk about Fives, you talk about Clone 99. Like, there's so many examples of just these clones, literally clones of Jango Fett, that you grow such a strong connection to that when they die in the Clone Wars, you're like, holy shit, that's crazy. So I think this one will be just the same, and they'll give quite a good death to all of them. Yeah, I think they will all die, though. All of them. Maggie asks a great question. What's a watch party? So a watch party is what we'll be doing for all of the episodes of everything that gets released this year. And a watch party is, I go live, we put a timer in the top corner, and we watch the episode together at the same time. We press play at the same time, and we watch it together, we experience it together, and we react together. And then after, directly after, we talk about it. Those are watch parties, and they are a lot of fun. We just kind of started doing them last year, and they were a blast. Your pal Joe said, I cried when 99 died. That is quite a tough one. That is a tough one for sure. Yeah. Okay, let me mention this before we go too much further. Today we are doing a giveaway for the month of January. We do a giveaway every month for the members of the channel. Becoming a member is only 99 cents. It is the best way to support the channel, other than, of course, just watching the content. But supporting the channel, you get instant access to a lot of things, a private Discord. We're going to start doing private members-only live streams once we get to a certain amount of members, and some other cool things as well. But one of the biggest ones is giveaways. So once a month, I give back to those members who support me very, very much, and we do cool, awesome giveaways. So today is that day. It's the end of the month, and that means cool, awesome giveaways. And up for grabs today are two separate items here. Let me pull them up here. Two separate items. We got, let me go full screen. We got a pop figure and a shirt. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So the first is the shirt. And this shirt is pretty damn cool, if I do say so myself. And that is the Employee of the Month. I'm going to have to give one of these away every month, as they are so awesome. It's Employee of the Month shirt. This one's pretty cool. You can get it in all different colors: white, black, blue, red, whatever, purple, whatever you want. So that is the first of the giveaways. And then the second one is this pop figure of Crosshair. So as we get closer to the Bad Batch Season 3, we'll be giving away some more Bad Batch stuff. And the first one to go is this Crosshair pop figure. So Crosshair pop figure and Employee of the Month shirt is what's up for grabs today. That giveaway will happen later on in this stream. So if you want to become a member and get a chance to win those two things, you can definitely do that. Okay? Cool. Okay. So that's the giveaway. We're doing it later on in the stream, so we'll close that out for now. Just giving those people a chance to become a member. Last minute to go steal the goods from those people. Where was I? Oh, so to answer your question, John, do I think they will die in an explosion or taking multiple hits during a battle? I think they will take multiple hits in battle. Yeah, I think they will sort of take their time to kill them off. But maybe one or two die in an explosion, sacrificing themselves to save everybody. It's possible. It's possible. Ian says, Rex, Gregor, and Wolf are the only ones we know who get out alive. Yeah, that's the coolest part about what I think, honestly, is the coolest part about the Mandalorian time period and this Bad Batch Season 3, is anyone can die. Anyone can die, except for, of course, the obvious ones like Luke Skywalker in The Mandalorian or Leia in The Mandalorian. I guess she's not in it yet, but she probably will be. And in the Bad Batch, the only three that can't die are Rex, Gregor, and Wolf. Everybody else, Dr. Hemlock, the Bad Batch, Nala Se, Mount Tantiss can blow up. Like, everything is up for grabs in this third season. Even Asajj Ventress could die. So it's pretty damn cool. Yupal Joe says, I know I'm probably late to this, but didn't Asajj Ventress die in the Clone Wars? No, so she didn't die in the Clone Wars animated show, but she does die in a canon, or she dies in a canon novel called Dark Disciple. And in that book, she sacrifices herself to save Quinlan. She steps in front of Count Dooku's lightning and sacrifices herself. But, which I think is going to be explained in Tales of the Jedi Season 2, Quinlan takes her body to Dathomir and puts her in these pools of water. And she gets pulled down into the pools, and I think that's actually what saves her. We, of course, know that Night Sister magic on Dathomir is something that's very easy to either resurrect somebody or keep somebody alive or whatever it may be. I definitely think that Asajj Ventress does not die in that book. I think that's just a near-death experience for Asajj, and I think she definitely survived it. And obviously she does survive it because she's in the Bad Batch Season 3, even though she died in Dark Disciple. And the producers on Bad Batch have explained that they are keeping true to that story, meaning Dark Disciple canon novel will continue to be canon. And just that ending will be sort of not even altered, but it will just be left in the open because she doesn't die, technically. She's just brought to Dathomir and saved by Quinlan. Yeah. Ian says, we don't even know if Senator Chuchi survives. Yeah, we don't, because she's not in anything else either. She could die at any point. Yeah. Yes, but remember Force Unleashed 2, which is not canon. I'm confused. I don't remember anything. I don't know what you're referring to. Ooh, Cal Kestis will be an Unreal edition. Yeah, if he was in this in animation, I mean, sign me up. I think Cal will make a live-action appearance in the Mandoverse. I do too. I'm still holding out hope that that's in the Skeleton Crew show, but it looks less and less likely every day. Yeah. Ellie says, no. It would be like 2 years after Order 66, and I think he would still be in hiding right now, unless the Bad Batch come across him. You mean Cal Kestis? Yeah. I think he still is in hiding at this point. So it's probably unlikely that we see him, but there could be a flash forward scene, like 5 years later or something like that, for Omega's story. Maybe to set up Omega being in Jedi 3. I don't know. That's definitely possible. Somebody brought this up in the chat, and I apologize for forgetting who it was, but somebody brought this up in the chat a few days ago. What if Asajj is being set up in this Bad Batch Season 3 to make an appearance in Jedi 3? The sequel to Jedi Survivor. That would be pretty damn cool. Dustin Kennedy says, is there any chance that Boba Fett will appear? Is there any chance? Yes. Do I think it will happen? Maybe. Having Cad Bane and Fennec Shand in the trailer leads me to believe that there will be more bounty hunters in this third season. Maybe that's Bosk. Maybe that's Boba Fett. I don't know. I think there definitely is a chance. Yes, 100% there's a chance. But do I think he will be in there? I honestly, I go 50-50. I go 50-50. I could see it happening, and it would be a great surprise, pleasant surprise. A surprise to be sure, but a welcome one. And there's the chance that he could meet his identical clone sister in Omega. But again, I could also see it where he's not in it at all, and it would still make sense. It would make sense regardless. Yeah. Fearless says, okay, the way I see literally everything can happen in this final season. Yeah, it could go many different ways. So many people can die. So many people could live. Like, so many things could happen. Is Mount Tantiss going to blow up? Is it going to stay? Is Dr. Hemlock, is Nala Se going to continue her research after this season? Is she going to be brought to Exegol? Is Exegol going to be involved at all? Is Hunter going to die? Is Wrecker going to die? Is Echo going to die? Is Crosser going to die? Is Omega going to die? Like, there's so many unanswered questions going into this third season, and that's what makes it exciting. Pure and simple, that's what makes it exciting. I'm way more excited for this third season than I was for the first or second season, like, and it's not even close. This third season has a lot to get into that I'm excited for. Yeah. Ellie says, who do you think Fee will, how do you think Fee will react to Tech's death? I'm sure she'll be pretty devastated. I actually just rewatched the scene where Fee and Tech have their last interaction. And, yeah, she clearly had the feelings for our boy Brown Eyes, Tech, and she definitely did not want to see him go. So how she's going to react to that is going to be pretty interesting. But she does seem to continue to help the Bad Batch. She is in the trailer helping them out. Now maybe she's like, okay, now I want to kill the Empire because they killed Tech. And that's maybe her reasoning as to why she's going to help out. But it's definitely not going to be a happy scene. That's for sure. John Groom says, the Bad Batch helped save Kanan Jarrus from Order 66. Imagine if they are involved in the introducing him to Hera. That's definitely a possibility. Now that Kanan, we don't really know what happens to Kanan from now until Rebels. We know at some point him and Hera meet and start the Rebels crew, but we don't really know when that is. If they were this young when that happened. But yes, Hunter does save Caleb Dune or Kanan Jarrus in that first episode of season 1. And it would be so awesome if Kanan came back around and helped the Bad Batch because they saved his life and helped them go save Omega or go take down Mount Tantiss or whatever it may be. If they had Kanan Jarrus there, that would be so cool. Yeah. Skywalker Academy says, Hunter, Wrecker, Crosshair, Echo, maybe or maybe not, even with the help of Rex, Hera, Wolf, Gregor, Cad Bane, Fennec Shand, Ventress, Quinlan, Sid is redeemed by hiring them all to go get Omega out. I don't know. Sid's kind of on the hit list right now. She really, after season 1 and season 2, the Bad Batch saving her ass multiple times after her whole bar got stolen from the guy, and then they helped him get that back. Then she gets captured by the dude in the pod race or whatever it was, and they save her from that. Like, after saving her time and time again, she stabs them in the back. And I don't think she's going to sort of have a redemption from that. I don't think Sid's coming back from that one. No. Soda Man, what's up? Says, hello there. The Fallen Master says, hi. How we doing? Soda Man says, I think that Inquisitors would be in effect by this time because it takes place 1 to 2 years after the formation of the Empire. I really don't know. I don't know on this. I could not tell you. But somebody was saying last time, and I don't know if they were right or not. I guess we could look it up. Let's look it up. Why not? When do the Inquisitors come? All right, let's go start hunting Jedi. When did the Inquisitors start hunting? Okay. History. The rank of Inquisitor was active by 19 BBY in the aftermath of Order 66. 19 BBY. So 19 BBY would make it, they would be active right now. Correct? Right? When does Bad Batch take place? Let's look that up now. What year does Bad Batch. Oops. Take place. Approximately 19 BBY. Okay, so the Inquisitors are just now being introduced to the galaxy at the same time as the Bad Batch is taking place. Wow. Okay, so that kind of changes a lot of things here. That could mean that we could see some Inquisitors in this third season as well. Whew, that would be crazy. Maybe it's the introduction of the Inquisitors rather than giving us Vader again. Maybe it's Palpatine sending his newly acquired Inquisitors after the Bad Batch to see them complete their job. And maybe hunting down Asajj Ventress is their first mission. That would be pretty damn cool, if I do say so myself. That would be pretty cool. Good catch. Fearless says, I think this season will be the best. Filoni will pull out everything to make it a blast. I think it will be the best of the 3 seasons for sure. I just don't know if it's going to live up to the hype of like season 7 of the Clone Wars or season 4 and 3 and 4 of Rebels. Like, I'm still holding out hope that it does, but I'm not that optimistic that it will. Yeah. Ian says, Kanan meeting Hera in the canon book is in the canon book New Dawn. I don't think I've ever read New Dawn. What year does that happen at, Ian? Soda Man says, it'd be cool if they have Ventress survive and be in Ahsoka season 2. That would also be really cool. So there's a possibility of, what's up, Star Wars Kata? There's always the possibility of Asajj being in like the Jedi 3 game or showing up somewhere else. But if she shows up all the way in the Mandoverse in Ahsoka season 2, that would be way more poetic because Asajj and Ahsoka have so much backstory together that the two of them meeting again 20, 30 years later would make so much more sense and be very, very cool. Fearless says, if he did it with Rebels and Clone Wars, and it got better and better with every season. That's true. Dave Filoni did get better and better with every season. But it's going to be hard to top, like, Anakin and Obi-Wan in, like, season 7 of the Clone Wars. Or even the Battle of Lothal in season 4 of Rebels. Like, that'll be hard to top. I think he can. It'll just be tough to do. Can you imagine Ahsoka and Ventress reunion? I know. That's what I'm saying. If that was to happen, it would also give you a live action Asajj Ventress, which would be really, really cool. But yeah, that would be awesome. Soda Man says, I think, Soda Man, is your profile picture Boba Fett? That's pretty sick. And Fallen Master, is yours Ahsoka versus evil Anakin in the War Between Worlds? Because that's pretty sick too. I think that they'll save Crosshair, but they will fail to save Omega, which is why there's a time jump with Omega having a different style of hair. That's definitely possible too, because in the trailer, Hunter says Omega's been waiting for us for a long time, and we don't know if that is like after they've already saved Crosshair first, and they didn't successfully save Omega, or whatever it may be. I don't know. It's definitely possible. Here's also a possibility that could happen is they go to save Crosshair and Omega, and they save Crosshair, but Omega stays on purpose. She stays because of her sister maybe, or because she thinks that she can stop the cloning stuff. She, of course, knows Nala Se and thinks that she can stop her from stopping the cloning stuff. Like all that stuff. Like maybe Omega stays behind on purpose. That's always a possibility as well. Yeah. Ellie says, I believe episode 7 will be a failed breakout, and only Crosshair will make it out, but Omega will be left behind. That's definitely a possibility. It's definitely a possibility because, like I just said, maybe Omega stays behind on purpose. Maybe she stays behind to protect her sister, the older sister clone, which nobody seems to really be talking about, but that's okay. Maybe to save Nala Se, because Nala Se, of course, treated her very, very, very likely. Yeah, it's possible. It's definitely possible. Ellie, sorry, I just read that. Skywalker Academy says that's why Omega is piloting the Havoc Marauder when her and Crosshair escape. The other half of the Bad Batch infiltrated and got caught. All the bounty hunters show up to help through Omega contacting Sid. So you're saying that they just do a Uno reverse where Omega and Crosshair get out, but they capture Hunter, Wrecker, and Echo? That would kind of be lame. Uh, yeah. Ellie says, I also think that her longer hair is very pretty. Okay. She also looks sad and depressed in all the scenes with her with the long hair. Yeah, so it seems like she's been like on Mount Tantiss for a long time. I mean, how long do you think it's been between season 2 and season 3? Like a year? That's a long time, especially if she's been trapped there having experiments on her, especially with Crosshair too. She might be trapped on Mount Tantiss for a long, long time. Could be over a year. What do you guys think? Skywalker Academy says Sid's redemption could be the Harbinger episode. I don't know what Harbinger means, but maybe. Ian says, I think they're at least launching the Acolyte on May the 4th. No, I actually don't think so. I don't think the Acolyte will come out like immediately right after. I think the Acolyte will come out like later, probably in the summer, is what like people have been reporting. Possibly as late as August, which would kind of suck, but I do hope that the Acolyte does come out sooner than expected. Soda Man says the Clone Rebellion could be just a rewrite or canonize of the 501st Journal from Battlefront and the Clone Uprising on Kamino, but instead of it being Kamino, it was somewhere else. Oh yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah, because the Clone Uprising on Kamino doesn't happen. It's not on Kamino anymore because Kamino's gone, of course. Yeah, I guess we'll have to wait and see for that one. Oh my God, I just caught up to Maggie saying, what's a watch party? We are so far behind on chats. You guys are awesome. Keep chatting it. Keep chatting it up. Soda Man says, mayhaps Apo will make a return. Who the hell is that? Let's look it up. Mayhaps Apo. Star Wars. Oh, I think you meant maybe. Okay, that makes more sense. Yeah, that's possible. We could see a lot of different clones, for sure. Skywalker Academy says, the Acolyte will be around August, taking Andor's original spot. Yeah, that's what it seems to be. Yeah. Blame the kidder, blame the music. What do you mean? Blame the music for what? Oh, for the sad scenes? Yes, the music, of course, has to do with all of it. Yeah. Yay, giveaway. Yeah, giveaway will be later on in the stream, probably in like, I don't know, 20 minutes, 30 minutes. Skywalker Academy says, possibly, we got the Bad Batch 30 days ahead. I would expect no more than 90 days for live action, and more likely about 45 days. What? I'm lost. I don't know what you're saying. Good soldiers follow orders, that's true, and so do good cups. Dun dun! Can I get some good cups follow orders in the chat, please? Because this thing is a good cup, and it really does, I guess, kind of follow orders. I like the Crosshair Funko Pop. Well, Fearless, you gotta become a member to win it. Anthony says, as you know, Mike, I fully expect to see Lord Vader and the members of the Inquisitorius appear in this final season of The Bad Batch. I'll bet some of Hemlock's research will live on as well. Well, yeah, obviously some of this research lives on. We see it in The Mandalorian with what Dr. Pershing is doing, or was doing, in The Mandalorian's first 2 seasons. So what happens on Mount Tantiss does continue on Exegol and in the real Star Wars Landia in The Mandalorian. For sure. So, no problem, Joe. Soda Man says, it'd be kind of cool to see Ventress fight Second Sister or Grand Inquisitor, just so that those Inquisitors get more screen time, and maybe no one wins the fight and Asajj returns in Ahsoka as well. Yeah, it could come to a standstill for sure. Getting to see the Inquisitors, possibly the Grand Inquisitor, fighting against Asajj would be really, really cool. And thanks for the good cups follow orders, guys. I appreciate you. John Groom says, well, damn it, just scrolled to the bottom. John Groom says, it's only 2 years. It was only 2 years. Hunter did say that it had been a long time. Did Cad Bane train Boba Fett at any point? Yes, Cad Bane takes Boba Fett under his wing for a while in the Clone Wars, but honestly, maybe even after the Clone Wars as well. Fearless says 2 to 3 months can be a long time, especially for Omega. She is still just a kid. That's true. A long time could be anywhere from 2 months to a million years. Doesn't really, kind of can't be quantified. Dustin says, at the end of the Ahsoka series, we see Thrawn headed to Dathomir. Do you think he will find Malicos? Yes. I made a full-on video about this, about Malicos possibly being the canon version of what the hell's his name? Oh yeah, I was just on the tip of my tongue. Jorah Sabaoth. Yes, Jorah Sabaoth, being the canon version of Jorah, because instead of going to Mount Tantiss, he's going to Dathomir, and Malicos was last seen on Dathomir, for sure. Yeah. Soda Man says, Cad Bane and Boba worked together in the deleted Clone Wars arc, which is canon, where Cad wanted to teach Boba a little, then he betrayed him, which ends in them dueling, causing the dent in Boba's helmet. Yeah, so that was a scrapped scene from the Clone Wars. That doesn't necessarily mean that it's canon, though. You know? Because it doesn't really mean that it's possible that that's canon, because it wasn't created. They could kind of switch that up. But yes, that does... As of right now, we can think that that's how Boba Fett gets the dent in his helmet. This iconic dent right there. Yeah. What's up, Star Wars Kata? Does Ventress become an Inquisitor? No. Ventress does not become an Inquisitor. She remains a Jedi. But, I mean, she could technically at this point, because we don't know any more of her story after the events of Dark Disciple. Yeah. I hope we get to see Boba versus Cad Bane arc. It's possible that we could, but they'd have to switch it up a little bit, you know. Oh wait, sadly we can't see Boba versus Cad Bane because it did happen in the Clone Wars timeline. Yeah, but I mean, there's always flashbacks, but I doubt that would happen in this this season. Star Wars Kata says, remain calm, cooperate, and you might survive. Emiri Kar to Crosshair? I don't know what that means, or what you're referring to. I think all the Bad Batch will die. I agree with you, Kata. Except for Omega. I think all the rest of them will die as well. Star Wars for Life says, I sure hope not. I don't know what that's referring to, but yes. Fearless says, me too. Someone has to survive. Somebody could. Somebody could. Clone Uprising will be on the planet Wayland, Mount Tantiss. Yeah. So Mount Tantiss is on Wayland. The planet is named Wayland. Yes. Maybe plus perhaps is mayhaps. Did you create this, Soda Man? Because that is fantastic. That is like the greatest combination of words I've ever seen in my entire life. Mayhaps. Write that down. Writing it down. Maybe plus perhaps. This is genius. We're getting places today, ladies and gentlemen. That's awesome. Okay. Good cuts, follow orders. I appreciate you guys. Star Wars for Life says, I'm going to have a mental breakdown if Hunter dies. Well, that's the thing. A lot of people are going to be pretty damn upset if Vader comes in, or anybody comes in, and slices and dices or kills the Bad Batch in any way. If Wrecker dies, if Hunter dies, people are going to be pretty emotional, pretty upset about that. Yeah, for sure. And right now, 70% of you guys do think that Vader will show up in this third season. 70. That's a lot. I might have to pull this up in the community tab so we can get a bigger sort of sample size. Yeah. Cup 2's follow. Good Tups follow order? Tups? What's a tup? Malicos equals canon version of Sabaoth. Hopefully. I agree with that. All the deleted arcs from the Clone Wars Season 6 and Season 7 were all confirmed to be canon. Really? By who? I think the long time that Hunter is referring to is probably about 6 months. Yeah, it could be anywhere. It could be anywhere in the realm of 6 months to 2 years. Yeah. Ellie says, I left for a few minutes, and I'm not sure if you answered my question, so I'm going to ask it again. How do you think Fee will react to Teg's death? I did answer it, but I'll answer it again. I think she'll be pretty damn upset. For sure. It's going to be a pretty emotional scene, and it's not going to be a happy one. That's evident. Keto says, exciting to see what Ventress's purpose, will be in this season. Perhaps Vader will kill her. That's definitely possible. That Vader will have to kill Ventress, and that will be pretty poetic for Ventress. She fought against Vader or Anakin many times in the Clone Wars. Then she turns to the light side. Anakin turns to the dark side, and she ends up dying to him. That would be pretty poetic and a pretty good way to end her story arc. But at the same time, I'd love to see her continue her story, maybe even train Omega, or even show up in live action in the Ahsoka series, which would be awesome. Yeah. AVI, what's up? Or AVIAKIDOS-LOBITOS says, World Between Worlds, Dave will connect the Bad Batch to other timelines. The World Between Worlds is a metaphysical realm in Star Wars that allows travelers to future events, potentially altering them. I disagree. I don't think the World Between Worlds is going to be used like that. I actually don't think the World Between Worlds is like that. As described by Dave Filoni, actually himself, the World Between Worlds is what the person who goes into it, it's all up to the viewer, sort of, up to the person who's there. So the World Between Worlds is different when Ezra goes into it as to when Ahsoka goes into it. It's a completely different place. There's portal entrances and all this stuff in the Ezra one, and then there's no portal entrances, but there's the same bridge in bridges and stuff in Ahsoka's. So they're different looks, different for each person who's in there, but it's not a time travel device. Ezra Bridger can't go into one of those portals and live there. Same thing, Ahsoka can't choose to go live somewhere else in the timeline. That's not how the World Between Worlds works, at least how I see it and how it's kind of explained vaguely by Dave Filoni. I don't think it's a time travel device at all. And I really hope that's not how they go about this with the Bad Batch. If they all survive through the World Between Worlds, that would be a disaster and a really, really bad plan. Yeah. Star Wars Kata says, if you see Cad Bane before the arc, he doesn't have the under the hat. Oh, like the metal under the hat. But then after that, he's wearing something under his hat because he got shot in the head in that battle. Yes, he's got the metal plates in his head now. Yeah. Do I think Tarkin will show up in this new season? Yes. Tarkin was in season 2 and season 1, so it's likely that he will be in this third season as well. Probably in a smaller role, in a smaller capacity. But I think you could definitely see him. Yeah. Soda Man says, I think those scenes from Clone Wars were confirmed to be canon by Dave Filoni, I believe. I mean, I have no reason to doubt you. I don't. And it makes sense that they would be canon, but I don't know. It's possible. I believe you. Star Wars for Life says, Tech wasn't my favorite, but I was so upset. Okay, Star Wars for Life, now who is your favorite? And how upset will you be when they die? Because they're going to. They're definitely going to. Fearless says, I want Hunter and Crosshair to survive, but those two are definitely the ones to die, probably saving Omega. Yeah, Crosshair I think is the most likely, and then Hunter's probably the second most likely, due to just Crosshair's arc that he's been on and Hunter's connection to Omega. Yeah, I would be so surprised, like absolutely mind blown, if Omega dies. If Omega dies, I would be shocked. My jaw would detach from my face and hit the floor. I'd be so shocked if Omega died. And if Vader came in and killed her, I think I might pass out. I might die. Vader might kill me. Fearless says, oh, I just said that. Star Wars Kata says, you know why Rogue One is great? Because everyone dies. Kata, although that was probably a joke, you're not that far off. Rogue One, my top 3 Star Wars movies are this: Revenge of the Sith, Empire Strikes Back, and Rogue One. What do those 3 movies all have in common? The good guys lose. The good guys lose. Sometimes when the good guys lose, it just happens to be the best types of stories. And it's not that I'm rooting for the bad guys, but it's something that you don't expect to happen. Order 66, all the Jedi get eliminated, or almost all. And the bad guys take over the entire galaxy. Empire Strikes Back. Luke gets his hand chopped off, finds out Vader is his father. The good guys really take a hit because Han's now frozen in carbonite, being sent to with Boba Fett to Jabba the Hutt. Like, they really lose badly. And in Rogue One, of course, all the heroes that we come to learn about and love in that movie, from Cassian to Jyn Erso to the blind dude who I'm blanking on his name, to the big dude who I'm blanking on his name, they all die. They all died to the Death Star and the Empire. And those three just happen to be the best three movies. Coincidence? I think not. But, I mean, it makes the most sense. It's possible that The Bad Batch Season 3 could be the best of the 3 seasons, but also the best of many animated shows, because the bad guys win. The bad guys are going to win in this season. It's just bound to happen that the bad guys win in some sort of way with the extermination of the Bad Batch. Yeah. So although that was probably a joke, Kata, you're not far off. Soda Man says, some clones that I feel should make a return in this 3rd season are, is it Apo or Apo? Or Apo? Boyle, Bokara, Dogma, and maybe a few others. The real thing is, we don't know if these guys are still alive, some of them, but we also don't know if they are still working for the Empire or they've gone AWOL, or we really just don't know. We really just don't. Ellie says, you can't mess with time without messing up something else. If there were some sort of time travel device, it would be a total disaster if used. I completely agree. I think the World Between Worlds should be used very, 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 very infrequently. I think already using it twice in the matter of whatever it's been, 6 years, 7 years, is too many times. It should probably never be used again, honestly. Let's be honest. Like, the World Between Worlds should be very, very, very rare. Definitely shouldn't be a time travel device, and it definitely should not be able to change past or future. No, I agree. It would be a disaster. Star Wars Kata says, the only time I become sad because of a death is the only time I've ever become sad because of a death in Star Wars is when Tech died. Please don't bring him back. Yeah, it would ruin a lot. A lot of people were very upset when Tech died, and it would just ruin this whole story of it. It would just ruin it. Season 2 would be almost for nothing at that point. Star Wars for Life says, for me, Echo and Crosshair are goners. Yeah. Hunter and Wrecker are questionable. Yeah. But it would be too dark to kill off Omega because she is a kid, and this is a kid's show. As much as I agree with that, there's been many, many kids killed off in Star Wars in the past. Even in the Bad Batch, actually. There's some kids killed off in the Bad Batch as well. So, although I think it's very likely that Omega will survive this season, and it's very unlikely that she will die, it's not out of the realm of possibility. Yeah. Yeah. Maggie says, who was the Jedi on Kamino in the first episode of the Bad Batch? Who was the Jedi on Kamino in the first episode of the Bad Batch? Was it Jedi on Kamino in the first episode? That's impossible. That's impossible because the Bad Batch takes place, the first scene is Order 66. So there wouldn't be a Jedi. What? I don't think there's a Jedi. Is there a Jedi on Kamino in the first episode of the Bad Batch? That makes no sense. Order 66 just happened. What are we talking about here? Fearless says, the World Between Worlds is not for time traveling. If you somehow get in the World Between Worlds, you can probably watch past and future events, but that's it. And of course, only Force sensitives are more likely to get into the World Between Worlds. Yeah, I agree with that. Star Wars Kata says, yes, I think we should have a bad ending for all of the Skywalker Star Wars sagas. In the end, bad guys win. I love bad guys win. Bad guys win stories are just really, really good. Yeah. There's a dead Jedi? Dead Jedi at Kamino? Who? Did I miss this? What dead Jedi is on Kamino? The Jedi was dead. What are we talking about here? Hang on. Somebody help me out in the chat. Jesus. Dead Jedi in Bad Batch Season 1 Kamino. Rig Name What? Oh, she was the body. Okay, they were taking away a body under this thing. You guys talking about this? This right here. The two stormtroopers or two clone troopers holding a body with the thing under it. They think it's and the lightsaber fell. I do remember that. Yes. The lightsaber fell on the ground. Yes, I do remember that now. I just watched season 1 and this literally did not ring any bells. Yes. So they think, at least from what I'm seeing here, this is the scene that you're talking about, and the lightsaber falls. They believe it's this character right here, due to the hand, of course. And that's Rignama, whatever. I don't know. But yes, I guess that's your answer. That's kind of crazy. I did not. I completely forgot that even happened. Yeah. Well, there you go. John Groom says, we really need closure on Cody's story. Yes, we do. And I think season 3 will give us that. Closure on Cody's story is definitely something that will happen in this 3rd season, I think, because he went AWOL in that 2nd season, and then there was no more mention of him. And he had that very cool episode with Crosshair where they go and take down those... they're not separatists. Are they separatists? They got the droids, but I don't know if they're separatists. Yeah. I was gutted when Maul died. Oh, yeah, Maul's death was pretty good. It was very well done, and that's why it was kind of the best, you know? Star Wars kind of says, it wasn't a joke. You see why always good guys should win? I think if the bad guys win, it's the best ending. Also, in my imagination, I made a story for that Palpatine comes back and the bad guys win. Well, there you go. Bad guys winning is a good way to tell a story, but if the bad guys always win, then you're in the same spot as if the good guys always win. You know? Ellie says, my favorite Star Wars YouTuber are Stay on Target, and every time a new episode of Star Wars shows, one of the hosts always says, everybody dies, and the entire community is fearful that he'll be right with the Bad Batch. Your favorite Star Wars YouTuber? Whoa! Who said that? Allie! Have you lost your mind? Just kidding. I really don't care. But I appreciate it. Star Wars kind of says, you see, bringing back Palpatine isn't a bad thing, but it did happen in Legends too. I agree with that. I think bringing back Palpatine was not the bad move. I think it's how they executed it is what was bad. It's Me, What's Up says, where do you see Star Wars in the next 10 years? Oh, wow, that's a loaded question. Where do I see Star Wars in the next 10 years? 10 years will bring us to 2034. So I think the Mando trilogy will be done. Yes. And I think that we'll probably be going to the Dawn of the Jedi trilogy, moving towards the Old Republic. And I think we'll be in a pretty good spot because let's be honest, I think Dave Filoni will probably be more in charge. I think Kathleen Kennedy will be gone. And I think we'll probably be in a better spot. I think we're in a good spot now, but I think we'll be in a better spot in 10 years. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, I got you. Alex Bates, what's up, Alex, says, my theory is that Omega will die. Wow. Okay, I really don't think she will. I would be so surprised, like I said, that that would be mind-boggling to me if she did die. But I just don't see it happening. I think if anybody's going to survive this season, it is Omega. Like, if anybody. So, I think we'll have to wait and see, but I don't think she'll die. I don't think so. Yeah. Vader will kill Cody. That would be poetic. Yeah, it kind of would, because Cody's the one who tried to kill Obi-Wan. Yeah, I could see Vader killing Cody, because Cody's not in anything else either. So if he does show up, then he could die for sure. I mean, technically, him going AWOL in that 2nd season could be, because Rampart says that to Crosshair, that could be him saying that he's dead, but that would be kind of a lame ending for Cody's character, I think. Yeah. Alex says my favorite YouTuber is Star Wars YouTuber. Is Star Wars Theory and Knights of Melbourne. What the hell's going on? Is this chat turning on me? What the hell happened? What the hell happened? I thought it used to be me. Just kidding. Star Wars for Life says, in the trailer, the detail I pointed out, I'm curious what Fennec is doing with the Bad Batch. What do you think? Yeah, so Fennec is seen with the Bad Batch, like you pointed out. Looks to be kind of helping them out. That doesn't really seem that far off with Fennec's story. She is a bounty hunter, but even in that first season when she's hunting down Omega, she is helping Omega. She's getting paid by Nala Se to do so, but she is still helping Omega, so maybe she's grown a sort of connection to her or something along those lines. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see, I guess. I don't know what Fennec is doing with the Bad Batch, honestly. It's Me says, do you think we will see Adam Driver as Ben in the upcoming Rey film, and how? I do think we will see him. 100%, I do. And it could be many different ways. I think Force Ghost is probably the most likely, but you could see him come back to life. I know a lot of people either really, really like that idea or really, really dislike that idea. It's a very, very divisive topic, but we'll see. Yeah. 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 Star Wars Kata says, Cody is my favorite clone. There you go. What's everybody's favorite clone? My favorite clone? That's tough. I mean, Rex is probably the obvious answer, but Fives was always pretty damn cool, I must say. I don't know. Soda Man says, we know that Apo and Barkara survived because they executed Order 66 in Revenge of the Sith, and the 501st journals, which parts might still be canon, was from the point of view of Apo. Is it Apo or Apo? Who was a part of Vader's fist. Dogma will be interesting to come back because he's already 501st, making him part of Vader's fist in the Clone Wars. He would blindly follow orders from Krell, even for him to portray other clones. That would be pretty cool. Yeah, to see him in there because he was kind of already pretty evil in the Clone Wars. What if Palpatine kills all the clones in the Bad Batch himself? Wow. If Palpatine kind of came out with a lightsaber and started killing, I think that's very unlikely. You rarely see Palpatine bring out a lightsaber, especially after Order 66. So I seriously doubt it. I seriously doubt it. But it would be pretty cool. It would be pretty cool to see Palpatine back in action, you know? Soda Man says, and probably Boyle returned because he was part of the 212th and is a likable clone. Yeah. We'll have to wait and see, I guess. Alex, from my point of view, they're evil. Who? Oh, those YouTubers. Yeah. Star Wars Kata says, it would be epic if Boba hunted down the clones. That would be kind of terrible because he is a clone himself and then he'd be hunting down the same clones. But it's possible. He's a bounty hunter. You never know. Skywalker Academy says, I like the clone D. Bradley the clone D. Bradley Baker voices. He's always talking to himself. What do you mean? He voices all of them? Nah. That's what I'm finding hilarious in watching the Bad Batch back. Is all members of the Bad Batch, all clones, are all voiced by D. Bradley Baker. So he's pretty much just talking to himself almost the entire show, except for when Omega is in the scenes. So it's pretty funny. Brandon, what's up? Brandon says, Captain Frodo from 2003's Clone Wars show is my favorite. He took down so many super battle droids during the Battle of Coruscant. Yeah, he's pretty funny, actually. He's a name that you'll remember forever because it's Frodo. I mean, not Frodo, Fordo. Whatever, same difference. But that's why I always remember him, because he looks like Frodo. And all I remember is Frodo Baggins from The Lord of the Rings. Any Lord of the Rings fans in the chat? Soda Man says, Hauser has gotten up there with one of my favorite clones recently. Yeah, Hauser's been in season 1 and season 2 of Bad Batch. So it's possible that he could be in season 3 as well. Actually, does he die in season 2? No, he escapes the transport that's going to Mount Tantiss, and that's how the Bad Batch find out about Mount Tantiss. Yeah. Yeah. Star Wars Kinda says, what if Vader fought Palpatine in Revenge of the Sith? That would be a pretty cool one. Yeah. Vader versus Palps before Anakin burns alive. That would be pretty cool. Fearless says, in Bad Batch, Crosshair is my favorite clone because he is so ambiguous and obliviant. Sorry. Well, he's a little complicated, and that's why I like him. Yeah, he's a very likable clone because of how his story arc. His story arc is definitely the best of all the Bad Batch in the first 2 seasons. Being the bad guy in the first season, having the sort of arc back to the good guy in the second season, and I'd love to see him in this 3rd season for sure. Catherine, what's up? Catherine says, yes, I love The Lord of the Rings. There you go. I'm a pretty big fan of The Lord of the Rings. I don't know it nearly as much as I know Star Wars or even Marvel, but I love the movies. Movies are great. Yeah. Star Wars Academy says, I like The Lord of the Rings too. There you go. Maggie says, all the clones are great. That's true. Star Wars Kinda says, I hope we see Delta Squad's boss and Sev. Who's Sev? Delta Squad would be awesome. Is Sev from Delta Squad? I don't remember him. He goes AWOL. Who goes AWOL? Maggie says, I think Plo has some of the best clones. Plo Koon? Plo Koon is awesome. I actually saw a really funny meme today that said Plo Koon died on the same day that Luke Skywalker was born, obviously the same day of Order 66. So that just means that Plo Koon was resurrected as Luke Skywalker, meaning Luke Skywalker is Plo Koon. Theory confirmed, okay? John Groom says, Mike, I also watch other YouTubers, but they're only ones who get their hard-earned money. What? But they're only ones who get their hard-earned money. Yes. I don't know. I'm my favorite YouTuber, okay? That's all that matters. Brandon says, if Vader appears in the Bad Batch season 3, then will he eliminate all the team members, but Omega, Rex, Wolf, and Gregor are the only survivors? That's what I'm thinking, Brandon. That's what I'm thinking. I think Vader's going to come in probably in the finale and slice and dice all the Hunter, Wrecker, Echo, Crosshair, all dead. The joke that we made during the watch parties for season 2, if any of you were there for that, which I seriously doubt because we had like 2 people, those jokes that we made about Vader coming in and lining them all up and slicing their heads off are probably going to come true in some sort of way. Soda Man says, Apo was the clone with the arrow on his helmet. Oh, yeah. He was also in the 501st Clones in Revenge of the Sith and tells Bail Organa to leave. Yes, and he was struck down by a Padawan, but was confirmed to survive. What? He survived that? I know exactly what the scene you're talking about. When he lands and then Bail Organa's like, he's going there and he tells him to get back in his ship, and that's when it's actually George Lucas's son who comes out with a lightsaber and he's fighting and then he dies. But that's crazy. Hauser goes AWOL. What? Absent without leave. Isn't Hauser the one who gets saved from the transport to Mount Tantiss at the end of season 2? I might be wrong. Audrey, what's up? Audrey says, I'm only here to talk about Ridley's comments from yesterday. Meltdown 2.0 all over again. Will the Rise of Skywalker pain ever end? We're actually going to watch that interview, and I actually disagree. Meltdown 2.0 all over again? Stick around, Audrey, because this will get interesting. Once I catch up on these chats, we'll get right into this then. Did you know that Ezra was born on the same day as Luke and Leia? I did. Empire Day, of course. Order 66. Yeah. I said there is only one who gets my hard-earned money. Oh, I get you. I get you, John. I appreciate you. I appreciate you too, Ian. Audrey says, yeah, Adam Driver said he wasn't coming back, but I believe but I don't believe anything that actors say. Andrew Garfield and Ewan McGregor lied. Daisy Ridley even lied until Rey was announced. The Rey movie was announced. Yeah, actors lie all the time. We can't just take them for their word when they say that they're not going to come back or whatever it may be. Yeah. Soda Man says, I thought that Ezra was born on Empire Day and Luke and Leia were born a day later. Well, no, Empire Day is the same day as Order 66, I believe. We need Empire at War 2 game. That'd be pretty cool, actually. That game is very underrated. All right, let's dive into this Daisy Ridley stuff now, because what Audrey said, I got to get everybody's take now, because I actually thought this was good news from what she said. Thanks for the hearts, guys. I really do appreciate that a whole lot. So let's get into this. So Daisy Ridley was just on a podcast from Josh Horowitz called the Happy, Sad, Confused podcast. And he's a pretty cool guy. Hopefully he doesn't copyright us for watching his podcast. But we're going to read this article first, and then we'll watch it. So this article is coming from Variety, okay? This says, Daisy Ridley said that Rise of Skywalker outrage is still upsetting. Calls Rey and Kylo's divisive kiss a goodbye that felt earned. So this versus the actual audio from this might sound a little bit different for you. So this is the article first, and then we'll listen to the podcast itself. Daisy Ridley's returned to the Happy, Sad, Confused podcast amid the release of her latest indie film, Sometimes I Think About Dying, which has just recently come out, I believe. And I just bit my tongue. And looked back at a divisive response to her final Star Wars movie, 2019's Rise of Skywalker. The movie, along with its predecessor, The Last Jedi, generated outrage from the fans due to the creative decisions that many felt were against the spirit of the franchise. Now that is an understatement. So many people were extremely upset about what happened in The Last Jedi and The Rise of Skywalker. It's true. So Daisy Ridley said this, "It's still upsetting," Ridley said. Now, when asked about the response, you don't want people to feel like you've not served the thing that they're fans of. But The Last Jedi was so divisive. It felt like the first one, everyone was very responsive in the same way. The second one was super divisive, and the last one, super divisive. It didn't change how I felt about it, though. So she's talking about how I felt. She was very happy to have made the film, and how she felt about the film is very different than how the fans reacted to the film. Ridley is set to reprise the role as Rey in a new Star Wars movie directed by Sharmeen Obaid-Chinoy and written by Stephen Knight. She said that before her meeting with Lucasfilm President Kathleen Kennedy to discuss bringing back Rey, she noticed sentiments around The Rise of Skywalker changing somewhat. And I'm very interested in what you guys think about this. Has the conversation around the sequel trilogy changed since 2019? Because in 2019, it was holy shit, what just happened? What just happened to the characters that we loved? Leia, Han, Luke, all that stuff. What happened? This is completely blah, 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 blah. Like, it was a bad conversation. Bad. However, you fast forward 5 years later to now, 2024, the conversation has kind of changed. Yes, the hatred for the sequel trilogy is still extreme. It's still all over the place. And people really, really dislike it. However, from canon books like The Shadow of the Sith to comics to all this other stuff, The Mandalorian, that is trying to piece by piece sort of fix the plot holes and issues that come about with the sequel trilogy. Fans, open-minded fans, I should say, are sort of not coming around, but more so, I wouldn't say forgetting either. For lack of a better word, they're more open to the fact that the sequel trilogy could remain canon. And I'm sure many of you are going, no, what? No. Just bear with me. Could remain canon and actually be fixed in some sort of way. And I've been preaching this for a year now or so, that the sequel trilogy can be fixed, and a lot of people don't like to hear that. But I believe it can. The Force Awakens is a solid movie. It is. Without a doubt, it's a solid movie. That's why it made $2 billion. It's why it did what it did. It's a good movie. Other than maybe the fact that Han Solo dies in it, but that was bound to happen. The Last Jedi, of course, is the most divisive of them all. I really dislike it a whole lot. And The Rise of Skywalker is the same. However, the plot holes of what happened with Luke Skywalker before the sequel trilogy, Ben Solo's fall to the dark side, Snoke's rise to power, Palpatine's return, all of that can be explained and developed, fixed, if you will, before the sequel trilogy even happens. So, with that being said, the conversation around The Rise of Skywalker has changed drastically since 2019. And that's what Daisy Ridley's saying here. What was strange was before I had breakfast with Kathleen last year, I had 5 people come up to me and go, are you going to do more? Are they going to do more with you? Daisy Ridley said, and it was really strange. It was in this 6 to 8 months before that, the way with which I was being greeted by people responding to The Rise of Skywalker was quite different than what it had been before. Time passed, and that was what was really strange. People have been sort of talking to her differently about the movies as time has passed. Now, something similar has happened with the prequel trilogy, and maybe a lot of you are screaming, no, this is very different, and I think it is. I think it is very different. The prequel trilogy, when it came out, was loved by fans. Younger fans. The critics hated it. A lot of older fans didn't really like it. And it just didn't come across as well as the original trilogy did. With that being said, sequel trilogy is very similar. A lot of fans really don't like it. Older fans. Critics actually kind of liked it. But the younger fandom, and this is not fully the younger fandom, but a lot of fans who do like the sequels are on the younger side. And that might be the same case where in 10 years from now, those fans are older, have the ability to speak freely about how they think they like the sequel trilogy, how it came off to them. They didn't have as strong of a connection to the characters of Luke, Leia, and Han. But there's also a possibility that the gaps have been filled. The prequels to the sequel trilogy have been done. Same way the Clone Wars made the prequel trilogy a lot better. Same way that a lot of us are massive Clone Wars fans. Massive Clone Wars fans. Because the Clone Wars made us fall in love with clones. Individual clones. We just talked about them for an hour. Individual clones. And that, along with extensions of stories of Anakin and Obi-Wan and Ahsoka Tano as a brand new fantastic character, Darth Maul returning, Palpatine getting more explanation, Mandalore, all that stuff in the Clone Wars really makes people love not only the Clone Wars, but the prequels even more. And that could be the same case with the sequel trilogy. Okay. With that being said, let's dive into this. We're going to skip the rest of this article and we're going to listen to what Daisy Ridley said herself on this Happy, Sad, Confused podcast, okay? So this is Daisy Ridley talking with our boy right here. I completely forget his name already. I apologize. Josh. Damn it, I knew that. Josh. So here's what we had to say. This is what Daisy said about The Rise of Skywalker, and then she actually goes on to talk about her return to Star Wars.
Okay. Let's talk a little Star Wars.
Yep.
Before we look
That's
ahead,
too quiet. Hang on. They're about to talk a little Star Wars. Let's turn this volume up here.
Okay. Let's talk a little Star Wars.
Yep.
Before we look ahead, which I know we can't say much anyway because there's not much to say, but we never really had a little postmortem on Rise of Skywalker. So if you'll indulge me,
Sure.
I feel like we could have this conversation after each one of those 3.
There's a reason why we didn't have a postmortem on The Rise of Skywalker is because, honestly, she was still under contract and couldn't talk about it. And secondly, because the divisiveness or the fan reaction to it was not very good.
3 films.
Okay.
Divisive, to say the least.
Yeah.
You were feeling very confident. Everybody felt very confident. JJ was confident. Were you surprised by how divisive it was the reception to it?
By the way, they say divisive. Does anybody like? I say divisive. Is this like a crazy thing? Like, how do you pronounce it? Divisive or divisive? And is there an incorrect way to say it? So this is how she's reacting to how divisive it was.
Or in your heart of hearts,
Was
you're
I
like,
surprised?
Yeah.
I think it's still upsetting because you don't want people to feel like you've like not served
Sure.
the thing that they're a fan of. But Ryan's one was so divisive.
You think?
So yeah, so it really felt like.
So even Daisy, being an actress, her job is to act, of course. She's not writing the script. She's not directing it or anything like that. Even she knows that it's very divisive, both movies. But she does mention that Rian Johnson's movie, The Last Jedi, was way more divisive than even The Rise of Skywalker. And that could be up for debate, but she talks about The Force Awakens too.
The first one was fairly,
Yes.
everyone was like
Yes.
responsive in a similar way.
This works, thank God.
Yeah.
How did it happen?
And
A
then
miracle.
Ryan's one, super divisive. And then the last one, super divisive. Yeah, it was still, yeah.
Well, it probably makes it bittersweet because, like, you're saying goodbye to this amazing period in your life, and
But
you
it
want to
didn't
go.
change how I felt about it.
Right, you had the experience. You love these people.
And what was strange is literally before I had breakfast with Kathy last year, I had already been on set because we were making Magpie right after Sundance. And I had like 5 people come up to me and go, are they going to do any more with you? Like, and it was really strange. Like in the sort of 6 to 8 months before that, the way with which I was being greeted by people's response to it was quite different than it had been.
Right.
And I think just time had passed and it didn't feel so.
Let's put it this way. Time has passed, for sure. And people have kind of forgot, or whatever you want to call it. There was no doubt that there was going to be a return of Daisy Ridley and other sequel cast members to Star Wars at some point in the future. That was always up. That was always going to happen. Even she says it in this interview later on. She says, I knew that I was going to come back. Maybe it was in 5 years, 10 years, whatever. But she didn't think it was this soon, like right now. At some point, they were going to come back. And she's more so saying that the reaction that fans had asking her if she is coming back was more of an actual excitement around it. People wanting her to come back rather than in the years past saying, please don't come back. So, with that being said, 1, do you want Daisy Ridley to come back? And 2, are you excited for Daisy Ridley to come back? She actually talks about the sequels a little bit more here, so let's go.
So
Like immediate.
The media.
It was, yeah.
yeah. And so that was what was really strange because people would like talk to me about it. I was like, no, I don't think so. I don't think so now.
Yeah.
And then it happened.
The one specific thing I wanted to ask about for the Rise of Skywalker, where were you at on the kiss moment? Were you like, this is going to work?
Before Daisy responds, where's everybody at on the kiss moment at the end of Rise of Skywalker? Was it deserved? Was it not deserved? Was it really out of place? Was it where the story arc was going the entire time? Because Rey and Kylo were pinned against each other from the beginning of the sequels. From Force Awakens to Last Jedi, where he offers his hand, she says no, blah, blah, blah. They have this connection, of course, being the dyad in the Force. But was this kiss at the end of Rise of Skywalker deserved or not? You tell me. Let's hear what Daisy has to say.
Work, or like, are we really doing this?
Well, we did one without.
Yeah.
Hang on. We're not just going to breeze over that. They did a scene without the kiss. There was 2 alternate endings to Rise of Skywalker. And now I didn't have the channel back in 2019, but I was still in the Star Wars community in 2019, of course. And there was a lot of rumor about this, that there was another ending to The Last Jedi. I'm sorry, not The Last Jedi, Rise of Skywalker. And it didn't involve the kiss. And it actually had a different ending. And would you guys have wanted a different ending? Well, obviously, a different ending, not entirely, but a no-kiss different ending where they didn't kiss and instead Ben just saved her and then he died without the kiss.
Where was I with it?
And do you remember where Adam was? Like, was everybody in sync? Like, okay, like, or we're just gonna try this. If it works in the edit, great.
Adam had to like rap and literally got up from that scene, which was like so emotional and everything. Was like, bye guys, I'm going to New York. So that was.
Yeah, he literally kissed you off. But
yeah, he was like, see you later. Yeah. I felt like it felt earned.
Yeah.
And what was interesting, again, I think it's like intentionality. My feeling in that moment was it was a goodbye.
Yeah.
So that felt earned. Because, I mean, you could call a kiss 1,000 things, but I felt like it was a goodbye. And that whole scene felt so emotional. And I felt like I was saying goodbye to the job. And,
oh my God, yeah.
And then actually we had to.
So this goodbye kiss is what she's saying. All right, now we're going to fast forward to where she talks about the Rey movie itself. Hang on here.
So, okay, I feel like everybody, maybe you in your heart of hearts, or maybe not, thought at some point you'll come back. Like at some, maybe 10, 15 years.
Yeah.
So
that was my thought.
The surprise was the timeline. Like, oh, like we're doing this. We're doing this now.
I thought, yeah, maybe like in a little while, I don't know, pop in, say hi, pop out again. So the timeline was, was the surprise to me.
Were you following the rumors? Like there was, I mean, we now know there was like, which would have been fascinating. I mean, I would like to see my buddy Daisy in there, but Helen Mirren apparently as an older Rey was a different...
Helen Mirren?
Yeah, did you hear about this?
No.
I'm telling you for the first time.
Yeah.
So there was an iteration they were going to do Rey years later.
Okay.
And Helen Mirren was going to play...
Helen Mirren?
Yeah.
I heard the rumor about the older, but I didn't know it was Helen Mirren.
Yeah.
Go on, Helen. Queen. Yes.
I mean, you're going to share the role with somebody.
Yeah, I'm like, I'll take a dame.
So I mean, we've talked about that extent at length over live streams over the last year. Is of course the other Rey movie that was supposed to be in the works with Damon Lindelof, where he was going to create it years later with possibly Helen Mirren. That was just a rumor, but that was the original script for the Rey movie. It was going to be years and years and years later with an old version of Rey that was Damon Lindelof's version. Then they could get Daisy Ridley back, and they were like, okay, we're going to scrap that and do the Stephen Knight version, which is, of course, now Rey just 15 years after Rise of Skywalker instead of what would have been probably 40 or 50 years after Rise of Skywalker.
You were plugged into a degree, but you were kind of living
No. As in I had heard bits and bobs, but it seemed so... And also because, everyone's honest. So, like, I mean, I went to breakfast with Kathy, and honestly, I was just like, yeah, I think it's just breakfast. And then she came right out and said it. And I did think about it. I was like, I'm not sure, because it feels soon to me. And, I've been doing much different things, and I was like...
So she goes on for a long time. They don't really talk about anything specific because they can't, obviously. But that's the interview. She talks about Rise of Skywalker. She talks about the new movie. But she doesn't... What she does say there is that she doesn't initially just say yes to coming back. And that makes sense, of course, due to the divisiveness of the sequel trilogy and, of course, probably some fan backlash that she received. But it has been, by the time the Rey movie comes out, which is supposed to be 2026, it will have been 7 years since the sequel trilogy. Now, it will take place 15 years after, but 7 years after, it's a pretty big chunk of time. I mean, it's not 10 to 15 years, but it is still 7. 7's a long time. Now, of course, a lot of people have their own very strong opinions when it comes to the Rey movie, so I'm very intrigued to see what you guys think about this. But I honestly think Daisy deals with a lot of this very well. I think how she responds to these questions, especially this interview and the interviews we've watched in recent past, are very, very good. She actually is the reason that I'm sort of excited for this Rey movie. I'm definitely going to go watch it, but her response to actually, and we skipped over it, I think, in that accidentally, but when she, actually, I think I know exactly where it is in that interview. Let's go back.
Right, and it will probably be different people, I imagine.
Yeah.
Okay, yes, so this is actually pretty cool. So she talks about the cast and crew here for a second, but then she talks about Charmina Benchinoy, so hang on.
So I spoke to my mum about it, and then my husband was filming based on a true story in America. So he called when he was first up, and I was like, okay, there's something I have to tell you. I know you've just woken up. And he went, fuck. So there was like a day of sort of thinking.
Existential.
Yeah.
This is when she was thinking about it
Yeah.
after
But
Kathleen
this is a
pitched her
good
the
problem
idea.
to have. And
I mean, it's a good problem to have.
Yeah.
I'm like, I feel really like, and it probably sounds like,
Let me just take a second. She blends into the background. Do they not have any coordination here? And sorry, Daisy, that's a bad picture.
fake, but it's not. I feel really lucky. Like, the stuff that I'm doing, I felt is interesting, and I've worked with such different filmmakers, and a job is a job is a job. So, like, if I love the script and I love the story, it's going to be great.
Sure.
And
How
it
they
will
talk about
probably
Charmaine.
be different people, I imagine.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's the same or different or
right. Like
so all of that.
crew-wise, you mean? And
crew-wise,
like,
cast-wise, like, yeah.
So you have no idea if like any
No,
of your
no, I
friends
actually
are coming
don't.
back. Yeah.
Finn
So
coming
it's
back.
like all a sort of
Ben
adventure.
coming back.
So yeah, it's good. It's a good thing, and it's also like I was always like thrilled to be part of it, even when it's divisive, and even when
Even with the social media horrible stuff, all
yeah,
the
I'm
stuff
just
you had
like
to go through.
I feel
it
like
was-
generally people are like good, and like I feel like people are receptive and interested. And honestly, if it wasn't a story worth telling, I wouldn't be doing it. But I was like, ooh, it's like a fun. It's a fun.
That's a big thing. If it wasn't a story worth telling, she wouldn't have done it. But it is. Again, we don't know the story of this movie. That's all we have to go off of is what she just said right there. Is that it's a story worth telling, and she wouldn't have come back if it wasn't for the story that's going to be in this movie.
Direction.
It's gonna be fascinating. You're gonna have
Oh my
gone
God.
from like the new
I know.
person
The youngest on set
to
like
you-
an adult.
Yeah, you have to be Mark
Also,
Hamill.
Brian
Harrison.
Burke, who like worked with JJ a lot. When I told him about it, he was like, Daisy, you look the same age. I was like, thank you so much. But yeah, time's passed. I mean, it's going to be, that is going to be strange. But again, it's like a different sort of,
Yeah.
and also I was like, what if I can't remember how to do it? Like before each job, I'm like, what if I can't remember how to
What do
do
I do
this
with
thing?
this lightsaber? Where does it go?
Zoom.
No, you don't have to do the sound effect. We know that.
I do. So yeah, it's all like this crazy old ride, you know?
And have you spent some time with Charmaine yet?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Vibing
she's great.
with her. Yeah.
Her documentaries are quite different, obviously, to what we're going to be
Sure.
doing. But I feel like documentarians have a very particular worldview, like film view. And it tends to be that documentarians go into narratives in like a great way. And obviously watch her episodes of Miss Marvel and stuff too. She's great. And I
Boom. Right there. Talk about saying the right things. And again, I've brought this up many times over the last couple of weeks about Daisy Ridley as we watch multiple interviews because of her new movie coming out. Saying the right things is extremely important, especially when it comes to Star Wars and the PR around Star Wars. A bad Star Wars news story can take over the entire news articles around the Star Wars community for weeks. And that's what happened to start this year with Sharmina Obaid-Chinoy. Then they announced the Bad Batch and the Mandalorian and Grogu movie to get the good news. And that, again, took over the news story for weeks. The Mandalorian and Grogu was talked about for weeks. Then the Bad Batch trailer drops and everybody talks about that for a week because the Savage Ventress is in it and stuff like that. So, good or bad, it takes over the news. You want it to be good. This is a great way to put this. Sharmina Obaid-Chinoy, she has only ever directed the Miss Marvel show and documentaries. First of all, that sounds horrible because she has very little directing experience and she has no experience with Star Wars. But Daisy Ridley turns it in a different light. Documentary, whatever the hell she says, people who make documentaries have a certain way of creating a good story. Let's rewind to what she specifically says here because I'm completely butchering it, but this is the perfect way to respond to this. Yes, Charmaine has very little experience, but the experience that she does have is actually going to be good for this story at hand.
this crazy old ride, you know?
And have you spent some time with Charmaine yet?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Vibing
she's
with
great.
her. Yeah.
Her documentaries are quite different, obviously, to what we're going to be
Sure.
doing. But I feel like documentarians have a very particular worldview, like film view. And it tends to be that documentarians go into narratives in like a great way. And obviously watch her episodes of Miss Marvel and stuff too. She's great. And I think her ideas for what this is and then Steven's script, it's all going to be good.
Can you start to prep yet?
So they go into prep, of course, and then they go into our other movie that's coming up. But that's how you want to talk about this stuff. Like, she spins it on a good side. The fact that Charmine has very little experience. She only ever really did documentaries. She flips it on a good side. And then she also, of course, mentions Stephen Knight working on a great script, and that's going to be good. Perfect. No need to make bad headlines, make people angry, whatever it may be. This isn't going to turn out to be a horrible news story that nobody wants to talk about. That's not what this is. She does a fantastic job time and time again with dealing with the fandom, dealing with critics, dealing with media in general. Like, she should be the poster child of how to talk right about Star Wars as an actress or an actor. And it's great. It's absolutely great. It's fantastic. So honestly, as long as she's the one talking about this Rey movie, hopefully she gets to read the script very soon and we get some knowledge as to what this movie's going to be about. I have my hopes. I do. But that was the latest on that Daisy Ridley news. She had that interview yesterday, so that was the latest and greatest from that, which is pretty damn cool. So let's see what you guys are talking about in the chat about that. Got to catch up on a lot of these. Hang on. Okay. Oh, wow. There's a lot of chats here. Hang on. Hang on. All right. Where was I? Audrey says, it changed for The Force Awakens and The Last Jedi, but not for The Rise of Skywalker, in my opinion. It changed. Oh, you mean the divisiveness? I'm guessing? I'm not too sure. Walker says, Vader was busy hunting Jedi and Padawans, survivors of Order 66 during this time period, but I'm certain Palpatine has ordered Hemlock and Tarkin to prioritize their clone rebellion problem. I don't know why there's a bunch of poop emojis in there, but yes, I think so too. I think they've definitely prioritized this thing, and that's why I think Vader will come in. Yeah. Maybe have a Purge Trooper make an appearance because the first line of them were clones. What? Oh, first line of Purge Troopers. I get you. Yeah. Okay. Maybe. I'm confused. I confused Hauser with Hemlock telling Crosshair Cody went AWOL. Oh, maybe. Yeah. Chat, who is your favorite Bad Batch character? Mine is Hunter. I named my pet bird after him. That's pretty cool. Favorite Bad Batch member? I mean, Hunter's pretty great, but I think I got to go with Crosshair. Yeah. The sequel trilogy worth fixing? I think we should just say, let's move on. Well, here's the thing, Catherine. You are moving on. You're moving on in the Mandalorian time period, but that has to fill the gap all the way up until the sequel trilogy. But you're also moving on with the Rey movie. And the Rey movie is still not getting the reception that it should. Now, it won't until it's literally released. The Rey movie, let's put it this way. If the Rey movie's really, really good, then people might see the characters of Finn, Rey, Kylo, like all of them, in a different light, and think that the future of Star Wars moving forward is going to be really, really good. Of course, you're going to still have those haters that even if the movie's a masterpiece, are going to say, no, and they're stupid, but that's okay. But if the Rey movie is good, we won't know until we see it. So for those fans who have an open mind and watching that, and if it is really, really good, having hope for the future of the Star Wars fandom and getting their fix for those characters of Finn, Rey, Kylo, whoever, that'll only happen on the release date of the movie. So up until that release date, up until 2026, December of 2026, over 2 years from now, the narrative around the Rey movie is going to be negative. And as much as I'm going to try to not make it that way, it's going to remain that way. So the Rey movie has a lot to live up to and a lot to sort of fix. But fixing the sequel trilogy and moving on from the sequel trilogy are kind of one and the same. They're one and the same. Because if you do the Rey movie correctly, you're fixing the sequel trilogy and you're also moving on from the sequel trilogy. Yeah. I love the prequels. I qualify as an older fan. I'm not saying that there weren't. I'm not saying that older fans did not dislike, not all older fans disliked the prequels. I know there's a ton of them that did. I'm just saying that there is a conversation around the prequel trilogy that when they were released, the older fans that liked the original trilogy were like, what the hell is this? This is way too different. I don't like it, blah, blah, blah. That stuff. Yeah. Soda Man says, Misa going to head out now. Okie day. Okay. I'll see you later. Walker says, I was just talking to a fellow fan and possibly the possibility of maybe Palpatine wanting Hemlock to find a way to use the clone inhibitors to as a mass kill switch to get rid of the problem in one flick. That would be quite wild to get rid of all the clones, but they've kind of found a way around that. They're using the clones now as experiments for whatever they're doing on Mount Tantiss. Yeah. I appreciate the hearts too, guys. I really do. Fearless says, I like them all, the Bad Batch, but Crosshair stands out for me. Audrey says, Ben fans having meltdowns right now because of over what she said. Though I thought that they might have taken it out of context. Yes, they take the whole kiss thing being a goodbye out of context for sure. But yeah. Yeah. Walker says, maybe only clones who removed the chip might survive. And that's why we see Rex, Gregor, and Wolf in Rebels. Plausibly, but I'd rather see plenty of the clones survive and find a happier ending. You guys are spamming the hearts. I appreciate it. Fearless says, I haven't forgotten, but it's not Daisy's fault. Yeah, the sequel trilogy is 100% not her fault. She did a great job. Yo, I want her back, and I don't want it unless Ben is in it, to be honest. So you only want the Rey movie if Ben is in it. Get that. There is no reason for him not to be in the Rey movie, especially if they're doing it so soon. The kiss was definitely expected for sure. I actually agree. I think the kiss was expected and deserved in The Rise of Skywalker. Just how they were dealing with the two characters. By the end of that movie, it was deserved. But yes, I actually agree. If Ben is not in the movie, I'd be more surprised than if he was at that point. Yeah. Ian says, I'm so getting banned for this, but I rewatched The Last Jedi last night, and I think actually it's the best sequel, Run and Hide. You're not going to get banned for that, Ian, especially here. You know that. I completely and totally love that for you. Like, absolutely love it for you. I really hope that someday I will get to that point with maybe an explanation of how Luke comes to that point in The Last Jedi and everything that sort of leads up to the sequel trilogy gets explained. Hopefully I get to that point. If we get a 7-season Clone Wars animated style show of Luke's Jedi Temple, maybe it's possible that I could get to that point, that I do see The Last Jedi as a really good Star Wars film. But right now I'm just not there. Just not there. Audrey says, like Rey sees Ben shirtless in The Last Jedi, what did people expect? Yeah, I guess. It was unnecessary in Reylo fan service, but the Reylo fans were very big, yes. Skywalker Academy says, I would have taken your hand, Ben's hand. Ooh, killer. Brandon says, Reylo kiss made no sense and didn't need to happen. Adam Driver's wife got death threats. What? By Reylo? What the hell? I didn't know that. That's insane. That's insane. But I actually think the Reylo kiss did make sense at the time. Walker says, no need to fix sequel trilogy because Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni, entire Star Wars and Lucasfilm already confirmed all the live-action series that we are getting at present lead to the events of the sequels. Yeah, but they are going to explain the sequels, not fix them, but like explain them more, fill in the holes. Yeah. I didn't know that either. Audrey says, yeah, the whole goodbye thing is why people weren't so happy about this. I think that she is saying Ben is done, even though she says in the moment, as The Rise of Skywalker is not the Rey movie. Yeah, well, that's why the fans are upset about it, because of what she said, but it makes sense when you actually watch the whole interview. Yeah. Yeah. Walker says, I don't care so much about the sequel trilogy. Nothing against everyone involved, but I watched those movies and felt absolutely no connection. I feel more connected and excited about the prequel trilogy and the original trilogy era content. not that I wasn't connected to the sequel trilogy. I actually really did enjoy going to the movies and experiencing those movies there. I just want those stories to be ironed out more. Explaining Luke's be turning into the hermit on the island is the most important thing. It can't just be that he's had his nephew was having one bad dream, you know? There has to be more to it, and it has to be explained very well. Yeah. Jar Jar and Rey love story? I'll be down. Sign me up. Misa back. What's up, Soda Man? Okay, where was I? Audrey says, just so you all know, though Daisy Ridley does like Reylo, she actually advocates for the kiss to be kept in the movie. Wow, back in and actually liked Reylo art back in 2017 before being run off of social media. That's true. She actually had to leave social media because of the backlash from The Last Jedi. Is Jar Jar alive during the events of the sequel trilogy? Ooh, that's a good question. Jar Jar, technically in canon, I believe, in a comic, goes back to Naboo after the events of Attack of the Clones and becomes, or actually the Clone Wars, and becomes like a jester or something, like a street performer or something. I don't know. It's strange. Yeah, it's strange. John Groom says, I like Daisy Ridley. I hope for her and her career that the new movie is good. I absolutely agree. I really am really hoping that Stephen Knight, Sharmeen Obaid-Chinoy, and Daisy Ridley can create a very good movie for this Rey movie to not only make the characters in the sequel trilogy better, but also to move forward past the sequel trilogy in a good light. Yeah. To try to avoid the drama, Sharmeen has 18 films of story in her country. That's no experience. Well, I'm not saying she doesn't have experience. I'm more so saying she has no experience with Star Wars. So she has experience with documentaries of Pakistani stuff, of civil rights and stuff. But that versus Star Wars is very different, like drastically different. So I'm not saying that Sharmeen's not going to do a good job. I'm more so saying that her experience in the past is not what's giving me hope that she will do a good job, if that makes more sense. I'm not saying she doesn't have experience making documentaries, but yeah. Ian says, although Hours of the Outcasts... Wait, what? Although Hours was the outcast? He didn't deserve that? I don't know what you're talking about. HR? Hours? I don't know. Maggie says, when did y'all start talking about Jar Jar? What did I miss? Well, Jar Jar's always around, you know. Angelina, what's up? Walker says, true. Honestly, though, I only kept up with any of Star Wars and Lucasfilm news that have nothing to do with the sequel trilogy. I'm actually surprised I'm still here listening to this Daisy interview. Well, I appreciate you, Walker, for staying around. Because we did start off the stream completely talking about the Bad Batch for like an hour and a half. So, yeah. Okay, let's actually get to this. I just realized we hit the 2-hour mark, and that's insane. I don't know how we did that so quickly. We got to get to this giveaway. So, last chance to join, become a member. It's only 99 cents. Become a member of the channel. You get instant access to this giveaway we are about to do right now. Right now. So let's dive into this. I'm going to pull up the members of the channel right now. So you have like 1 minute to become a member if you want instant access to this giveaway. Again, we are giving away this Employee of the Month shirt, which is pretty awesome. And then this pop figure of Crosshair. Okay, so let me pull up you get in your last memberships right now if you want to get instant access to winning this. Right now we have 13 total members. A lot of them dropped because, of course, there was a bunch of gifted ones from Tony. What's up, Tony? Tony says, I'm here. I'm busy, but I'll be viewing on later again. Okay, so we only have 13 members because, of course, a lot of them were gifted memberships from Tony. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. 13 members. Okay. 13 members. Let's get the wheel up. Of course, to spin the wheel. 1, 2, 13. So we got the wheel. Random number, random spin of the wheel. Last chance to join. So we got 13 members here. Let's zoom in. So if you see your name right here, you have instant access to winning this. Joe, you're no longer number 1, so maybe you get a chance. So you start 1 at the bottom, 13 at the top. Let's do this. Spin that wheel. Here we go. So the first one up is the Employee of the Month shirt right here. So let's do that one first. Spin it. Three. Who is number 3? 1. Oh, no, from the bottom. 1, 2, 3. Cat's Paws. Yes. Cat's Paw, winner of the Employee of the Month. That's awesome. Cat's Paw actually came in on Saturday on our first ever call-in. Cat's Paw, you just won the Employee of the Month shirt. Hit me up in the Discord or DMs anywhere so we can get that out to you as soon as possible. And then let's do the pop figure now. Round number 2. Cat's Paw can actually not win this one. So it's technically 1 out of 12, but we're going to leave it 1 out of 13 so we can keep the numbers the same. If it just lands on 3, we'll do it again. We'll spin it again. Okay, here we go. Ooh. Oh, it's almost 3 again. 4. Who is 4? Tony! Tony won! Tony, you did it! Tony! Tony finally won one. That's awesome. Okay, so Tony, you got the crosshair pop figure, and Cat's Paw, you got the shirt. Hit me up on Discord privately so that we can get those out to you as soon as possible. That's very awesome. Love to see 2 OGs win the prizes. I appreciate all you guys. Of course, becoming a member is the best way to support the channel. It's only 99 cents, and it's the literal best way to support the channel. There's also 3 tiers, but that's okay. Cat's Paw wins this, and Tony wins this. Just hit me up in the DM so I don't forget, and of course, we can get those out to you as soon as possible. That's awesome. Okay. And of course, members are the best way to support the channel, of course, if I did not mention that yet again. Hang on here. Okay. Zoom out. Okay. Babu Frick. Okay. Let's catch up on the chat real quick. Then we'll get to this Andor Season 2 news before we get on out of here. Where was I? Damn it. Audrey says, if the movie is a masterpiece, great, but I still won't be watching it unless they bring the other sequel characters into it, including Ben. I think Ben and Finn will definitely be involved. Yeah. There's a handful of people that don't want what we see in a new trilogy. They jump on their computers and twist everything to be worse than it is, or than it was, and pull sheep people into their IR nets, into their nets. Yeah, I mean, it's obvious that there's a bunch of haters online, and the haters like to scream louder than other people. So even when it comes to the sequel trilogy, there's a ton of haters. So a lot of them sort of just scream louder than others. Yeah. Soda Man says, in Rebels, Wolf said that Jedi attacked them. So maybe he's still a little brainwashed from Order 66, or maybe Ventress or someone else with a lightsaber attacks them in the Bad Batch, making him think that. Wolf saying the Jedi attacked them. Yeah, but what Jedi is Wolf with when Order 66 happens? Maybe the Jedi did attack them. I don't know. Skywalker Academy says, Ian, you are banned to a lifetime of happiness. That's awesome. Jar Jar became a street clown after the Empire started, since he couldn't get a job anywhere else because the people blamed him for Palpatine's rise to power. I don't think don't think he has a confirmed death yet. Interesting. Andor news. All right, let's get to and Tony, of course. Don't need to thank me. Let's get to this Andor news real quick before we get on out of here. This is Andor news coming from a few days ago. Getting exciting update as to when this could be released. Andor Season 2. Finally some news. Because they started filming. Okay. Exciting filming updates for Andor Season 2 star Diego Luna may have indicated when Season 2 will be on Disney+. Okay. Season 1 was released September 21st of 2022 and became one of the most beloved Star Wars Disney Plus projects to date. Andor fans will literally die on the Andor fence. Like, they will absolutely fight till the death for Andor. I did love Andor. Not more than I like The Mandalorian or Ahsoka, but it is a very good show. It's very well put together. It's a pretty good story. I just don't see it being as important, especially the 12 episodes, eating cereal the entire time. But there was a lot of very interesting stuff. Luthen is definitely my favorite character by far, and I'm looking forward to Season 2 because I think Season 2 will be even better than Season 1. Yeah, okay. Season 2 was confirmed to cover the years between Season 1 and the start of Rogue One. After it was first announced to be coming out in 2024, production delays due to the Hollywood strikes ultimately caused this project to be delayed. In a recent interview with Variety in the 75th Primetime Emmy Awards shared by Twitter, Andor actor Diego Luna was asked about being a part of the Star Wars universe. When asked if he thinks there will be more projects featuring the character of Cassian Andor, he said he doesn't think so. No. He will always be a part of the Star Wars family, though. Of course, there probably won't be, as Season 2 will lead up to Rogue One. Rogue One is the demise of Cassian Andor. The actor provided an exciting update regarding the upcoming Season 2 of Andor's prospective release. He says he has a few days left of shooting, so this is what he said. I don't think so, no, but I'll always be a part of the family. But no, I think the good thing about Andor is that we know it has an end, and it's nice working knowing that there is an end. You can aim for something, We are getting there. I only have a few days left of shooting. Luna has revealed that he only has 7 days left of shooting for Andor Season 2. This is what he said. I only have 7 days left, so tomorrow I'm flying back to London, and we will finish this. The Star Wars veteran then talked about the difficulties of filming Season 2, particularly how the strikes affected it. He also mentioned the hardships that came with Season 1 as well, which was due to the Pandy, of course. It's been forever. The first season, we shot under very, very hard circumstances, the Pandy, and now the strikes this time. So the party is going to be worth it. Well, they really had to go through it to get these 2 seasons of Andor to be done correctly. So what does that mean for the release of Season 2? This is very interesting. Thanks to Diego Luna's exciting news of that Season 2 of Andor only has about a week of filming left, fans now have a rough estimate as to when we can expect the upcoming installment on Disney+. Season 1 of the show finished filming in August of 2021, and then premiered in the first episode, streaming at the end of September of 2022, so that's about a year. Season 2, following the same pattern, as it's possible that it could release in February of 2025. As it finishes filming this month, it will release a year and 1 month later, just like the first season. This release window would notably line up with the other Star Wars Disney projects, such as The Mandalorian Season 3, which aired on March 1st, and also, and of course, The Bad Batch, which is coming out very soon. It's also important for fans to remember that Andor Season 2 wasn't included in Disney Plus's 2024 release slate, indicating that it will be delayed until 2025. Seeing how fans didn't previously know and exactly when Andor would come out in 2025, this update potentially indicates that it could be released in early 2025, which is exciting for the fans. So February of 2025 or the early parts of 2025 are very likely to see Andor Season 2. So that's kind of where we're looking at right now, is the very early parts of 2025, possibly February, possibly maybe March or April, but in that sort of time period. We're seeing Bad Batch season 3 on April 21st. We saw The Mandalorian on March 1st. So it's possible that this is a good time to release Star Wars content, and that's when Andor will release at this time next year. So that's a pretty good update. It's on the same track as season 1, and actually Tony Gilroy, I remember like before the strikes even happened, so about 10 months ago, did mention that the first season is on a very similar track as the second season. So it's likely that that's the case. We'll be getting Andor season 2 around this time, maybe a little bit later of next year. So for this year, you still got Bad Batch Season 3, which we're getting hyped up and excited for. You're getting Tales of the Jedi Season 2. You're getting Skeleton Crew. You're getting Acolyte, all within this year. And then you're going to start next year off with the Andor Season 2. And you're probably going to get Ahsoka Season 2 as well. And maybe some other projects here and there along with it. So that's the update for Andor Season 2. Audrey says, well, in the last crazy thing I see this week, imagine saying that Rey had chemistry with Finn and Poe, but none with Kylo. Sure, bro. I think Rey has good chemistry with many. I don't know what you're referring to, but yes, I think Rey had very good chemistry with Kylo. We haven't seen Wolf's Order 66 scene unless it was in a book or a comic. I don't think it was. Wolf was with Plo Koon, but Plo Koon was shot down by someone else. So Wolf never was able to shoot at Plo Koon. Interesting. Maggie says, I haven't seen Andor Season 1 yet. Oh, well, you definitely should. It's definitely worth the watch. I 100% worth the watch. Soda Man says, if K2SO isn't in Season 2, then I'm going to Rampage. Well, K2SO is confirmed to be in Season 2. He actually walked out when it was announced with Cassian, with Diego Luna. I believe the actor who plays K2SO walked out with him. He's going to be in it, for sure. And that means we could be seeing a lot more familiar faces in that, too. Maybe Bail Organa, maybe Leia, maybe Krennic for some bad people. Yeah, a lot more Saw Gerrera, I'm sure. For sure. Maggie says, there's a lot of Star Wars I need to catch up on. I don't know anything about what's going on. That's okay, Maggie. That's okay. Star Wars for Life says, I'm going to be so mad if K2SO isn't in Season 2. He will be. He will be. He definitely will be. Yeah. Walker says, enjoy all live action Star Wars, but Andor is the one that the one that I really like quality story wise. I'm fine with waiting for K2SO. Oh wait, no, I'm fine with waiting for Season 2 till 2025 or even early 2026. Now it'll be early 2025. I'm after post-production quality, which can't be rushed. That's true, but they'll have a whole year to do it, so they'll have plenty of time. Yeah. Do you think Ahsoka will be in Tales Season 2? No, I don't think Ahsoka will. I think Asajj Ventress will, and maybe Balin, maybe Luke, maybe Ben Solo, but I don't think Ahsoka will. Ahsoka was already covered in Season 1. Walker says, right, it wasn't Wolf who shot down Plo Koon. I don't think so, from what I remember, but I'll have to go back and watch it. Audrey says, Andor was slow in the beginning, but the second half was really good. I'm looking forward to the Acolyte, though, because I actually think it seems they worked really hard on it for the Jedi, and it will be different. Yeah, and it's in the High Republic. It's the first time in live action in the High Republic. It could involve the Sith with Plagueis. Well, it will involve the Sith, but it could involve Plagueis. But yeah, Acolyte's going to be pretty cool. And they've worked on it for a long, long time. I want more of Luthen. Yeah, me too. Luthen's my favorite character from Andor. Maybe Ahsoka working with the rebels will be shown. Maybe. As Fulcrum? That would be pretty cool. Live action Ahsoka in Andor? Ooh, that would be cool. That would be... Actually, no, can't be. Could it be? I don't know. We'll see. Ellie says, yo, I'm back. What's up, Ellie? Audrey says, I hate the Obi-Wan Kenobi show, though. The acting was really bad in my opinion. Vader and Obi-Wan fight in the rock yard. What the fuck? I know some enjoyed it, and that's great, but I didn't. Otherwise, like Andor, Andor and Mando. I liked Kenobi to an extent. I think the Reva stuff was not good. I think the story itself was pretty good. I think the execution was pretty bad, but I think the finale was spectacular. It was so good. The scene between Vader versus Obi-Wan is absolutely incredible. The whole scene after he cuts his mask in the in that dialogue there is like up as some of the best dialogue in Star Wars. It's up there with like the Revenge of the Sith fight and stuff like that. So it is really, really good. That finale. Yeah. Walker says Asajj and Balin would make sense for Tales of the Jedi Season 2. Maybe even Ezra after he arrives on Peridia with Thrawn's ship. Ooh, Ezra on Peridia would be cool for Tales Season 2. That would be freaking cool. All right, I do have to get on out of here. We've gone for 2 hours and 20 minutes almost. That was wild. This was an incredible stream, I must say. I do think, and as this poll almost has 50 votes on it, which is probably the most we've ever had, 67% of you guys do think, the math is not mathing, 67% of you guys do think that we will see Vader in this third season, which is pretty damn cool for sure. Yeah. Audrey says, yeah, the execution definitely with Obi-Wan was the problem. Reva on paper was good, but the acting was not good. Walker says, yeah, Kenobi was good, but the Reva edition felt awkwardly forced. I think if Reva died to Vader in like the second to last episode or whenever it was, then it would have been better for her story, but she didn't. Ellie says, I liked Kenobi, but it would have been better as a movie. Yes, I think it would have been better, way better as a movie for sure. Audrey says, Reva's acting wasn't good, probably the worst. Yeah. Maggie says, did Darth Plagueis actually know how to stop death, or did he lie like Palpatine did when he told Anakin that? I don't really know. I think he was trying to learn how to not die. I don't know if he succeeded, you know? I didn't like Ahsoka. It just sucked. Damn. That's unfortunate. Ahsoka's still my favorite of any show. Yeah. I'm sad. That sucks. I wish you liked it more. That's, I don't know. To each their own, I guess. Soda Man says, I heard that the Acolyte may have Plagueis' master, Darth Tenebrous, in it. That'd be cool. Darth Tenebrous is something that fans have always wanted to see. Plagueis, of course, is probably more so, but Tenebrous would be cool. Because Tenebrous is the same species as the guys who play the instruments, the in the cantina scene. So it'd be cool to see him as a Sith Lord. Star Wars for Life says, that would be savage if Vader kills the Bad Batch because Anakin worked with them on a mission. That's true. Yes, in Clone Wars Season 7. Yeah. Kenobi finale fight with Vader was the saving grace for the show. I agree with that, yeah. I think Plagueis will be in the show. Acolyte might be amazing, and the person working on it seems very passionate about it. Yeah, I think it will be pretty good. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Balin and Shin were great characters. They are fantastic, great, brand new characters. Incredible brand new characters. All right, I'm going to get on out of here. You guys the absolute best. Palpatine killed Plagueis. Yes, he did. You guys the absolute best. I appreciate all of you guys. Another great month. This was probably the best month as January comes to a close as the channel has ever had. We are coming close to 8,000 subscribers. Hopefully we can get that by the end of this week. I cannot thank you guys enough for hitting that like button, hitting that subscribe, all that stuff. I appreciate the hearts a whole lot. Yeah, I'm going to get on out of here. Watch out for maybe a video tomorrow. If not, that video will be postponed to probably Friday about the Bad Batch themselves. And yeah. Okay. You guys the absolute best. I appreciate all you guys. Hit that subscribe, hit that bell so you get notified every time I post a video. And my pretty face will show up in the recommended feed of yours. And may the Force be with you. Always. Oh yeah. What a great stream. What a great show. You guys are the absolute best. I appreciate all of you. Those hearts are make my day right there, making me smile. So I hope you have a great rest of your evening, a great rest of your lives. And good night, everybody. That's just wrong. Why you gotta do that? that really how you want to end the stream? Really? 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 I don't think you'd even gotten through. Didn't even get through. Ha! Ha! Ha!